Chapter 610. There were many experts in Black Flame sect. There were 3 of them who were at the divine level. There were also many almighties who were at the divine level and celestial and earthly level. As the protective mountain formation was the core of Black Flame sect, there would naturally be almighties guarding the nodes of energy flow secretly. On top of that, there were many palaces that were made of dust cleansing stones in Black Flame sect. They were good defense against the incarnation skill and teleportation skill. It was a pity, then, they met Xing Hui. Xing Hui, who was using the shadowless celestial skill, seemed to have become one with the power of the protective mountain formation of Black Flame sect. Unless someone saw him with their own eyes, no one would be able to sense his location based on his aura. However, no matter how cautious and conscientious that great being was, it was impossible for him to keep an eye on the energy nodes of the protective formation at all times. There would be times when he would let his guard down. Qing Su hid for less than an hour. While the great being received a message and was reading it, he passed through the formation with a flash and snuck into the Black Flame cult. The Almighty noticed when he flashed. However, the shadowless celestial skill that had reached the great achievement realm seemed to have touched some kind of mysterious rule. It possessed a mysterious power that could change one's subconscious thoughts. Although the Almighty noticed, his mind was filled with thoughts of denial in the next second. As such, he didn't investigate further. True God of suffering. He really hid himself well. His aura seems to be weaker than the other 2 saint stage giants. Wait, could it be that he still hasn't recovered after burning the origin of his domain half a year ago? As Xing Hui sneaked in the direction of real God suffering, he observed real God suffering's aura and he looked surprised. On one hand, he was shocked by the difficulty of recovering the origin of realm. On the other hand, he had a bad feeling. If the injuries of suffering true God's domain origin had not fully recovered, then what he should be doing now was to go into seclusion to recover. In actual fact, when Xing Hui sneaked to a mountain peak not far away from real God suffering, he had to admit that he had come at the wrong time. The mountain peak where real God suffering's aura was completely sealed off by a formation. Although Xing Hui could see the flow of the formation's aura, a fully activated sealing formation and a half-activated protective mountain formation were 2 different things. On top of that, he wasn't proficient in formation doctrine. Hence, he couldn't do anything about the formation. If he wanted to enter it, he could only break it by force. However, this was the Black Flame sect's headquarters. If he were to forcefully tear apart the formation in the Black Flame sect's headquarters, he would definitely be besieged by 3 saint stage powerhouses. Even if he was much stronger than before, he would definitely not be able to do so. If he were to hide inside, I wouldn't be able to do anything to him. However, since I'm here, I naturally can't return empty-handed. Black Flame sect is one of the 6 sects after all. Even if the top treasures in the sect are kept in the saints and Almighty's personal space, there are still quite a number of items that are of a lower grade. I shall take them away and sell them. I can enrich Hunyuan trade union. Xing Hui turned his gaze and headed to the treasury of Black Flame sect. The treasury of Black Flame sect was also protected by a formation. There was even an Almighty guarding outside the treasury personally. However, as there would be people entering and exiting the treasury from time to time, the formation naturally wouldn't be the same as the one in real God suffering's seclusion place. It was impregnable. Xing Hui waited outside for less than 2 days. Then, there was a disciple who looked young and had cultivated to the gold core realm. He held the master's token and stepped into the treasury. Taking advantage of the opening of the treasury and the loosening of the formation, Xing Hui entered the treasury in a flash. There aren't any top treasures in the treasury of Black Flame sect. However, there are quite a number of treasures for real origin realm, transformative realm, never-ending realm and gold core realm. Although the magical weapons aren't of a high grade, they are around the 9th or 10th grade. However, there are a lot of them. There are also many materials and treasures. Although they aren't the top treasures, there are a lot of them, Xinghui glanced at the treasury. Then, in a flash, he appeared on top of the elite disciple. Before he could react, he knocked him out and kept him in his personal space. After dealing with this golden elixir realm disciple, his figure quickly shuttled back and forth in the treasury. Almost everywhere he went, the divine weapons, natural treasures, spirit beast soul essences, and so on were all kept in his personal space. In less than half an hour, the entire treasury had been cleaned out by him. After collecting everything in the treasury, Xinghui no longer relied on the gold core realm disciple to lead the way. Instead, he headed out of the treasury. Outside the treasury, the Almighty from Black Flame sect lifted his eyelids lazily when he heard the footsteps. I've chosen the items and I'm here to record it. You. Who are you? Xinghui stepped out of the treasury. Without saying anything, he soared into the sky at the fastest speed possible. Along with a deafening sonic boom, he whizzed into the sky. As he soared into the sky, his sword essence burned and light pursuit was activated. His speed reached an unprecedented level. In a breath's time, he covered a distance of hundreds of kilometers. Along with the deafening sonic boom in the sky, countless cultivators in Black Flame sect lifted their heads in shock. Meanwhile, the great figure outside the treasure vault was suddenly jolted awake, and he shouted with a grim voice. Men, stop him! At the same time, he dashed into the treasury at the fastest speed possible. When he saw the empty treasury, his eyes were bloodshot. How dare you? How dare you sneak into our Black Flame sect and steal? Quick, raise the protective mountain formation and stop him. Stop him! The Almighty shouted loudly. His voice echoed throughout the Black Flame sect. Following the Almighty's shout, many powerful cultivators in the Black Flame sect were awakened. The entire Black Flame sect was mobilized. Powerful auras soared into the sky. Mixed with rage, they circulated in the sky above the Black Flame sect. Where did this thief come from? How dare you behave so atrociously in our Black Flame sect? Die! How dare you steal from our Black Flame sect? How dare you? How dare you? Surrender now! Powerful auras, accompanied by powerful attacks, swept across the sky above the Black Flame sect. However, Xinghui, who had activated light pursuit, was extremely fast. The Almighties in the Black Flame sect, including those with astronomical phenomenon and earth cultivation, had been left far behind by Xinghui before their attacks could even reach him. In a few breaths' time, there were close to 10 Almighties who had attacked. However, none of them managed to touch the corner of his clothes. Instead, the speed that he displayed caused these Almighties who had missed their attacks to be extremely shocked. What a fast speed! This can't be a divine great leader at the profound void stage, right? Impossible. A divine great leader at the profound void stage has already integrated himself into the law of space. With the help of the law of space, it's impossible for him to create such shocking movements when he's flying. This thief must have mastered an extremely fast divine great leader. Damn it! I can't stop him. The speed of my divine great leader's blazing soul flame isn't even as fast as his flying speed. These Almighties who had attacked were both shocked and furious. At the same time, they felt a sense of grievance and helplessness from the bottom of their hearts. Fortunately, this feeling of grievance did not last for long. As a vast and mighty territory energy swept across the area, a light screen that covered a radius of over 1,000 kilometers gradually formed and gradually dissipated. The true Savior. The true Savior has made his move. Good, the Great God Protection Formation has already been activated. Once the formation is fully activated, even a divine great leader won't be able to break it in a short period of time. How dare you come to our Black Flame sect and behave so atrociously? Even if you're a true divine great leader, I'll definitely make sure you won't be able to return alive, let alone a mere divine great leader who has cultivated speed divine great leader. The Almighties who had been helpless against Xing Hui, who was flying at high speed, were all relieved. Looking at the vast and mighty territory that was sweeping toward Xing Hui, they all smiled as if they were waiting for a good show. Unfortunately, this smile lasted for a moment before it was frozen by a sword ray that illuminated the world. Sun burst. Accompanied by a soft chant, it was as if a scorching sun was slowly rising in the void. It suddenly exploded, and endless light and heat spread out from the scorching sun. It continuously compressed the surrounding air, forming a shockwave that could be seen with the naked eye that swept across the area. Sword of Sun burst. Xing Hui's most powerful Sword of Sun burst. Furthermore, although this sword was used to tear apart the true Savior's territory, its main purpose was to destroy the surrounding area. Don't forget that he was now in the Black Flame sect. If the power of this sword were to spread out and destroy the surrounding area, the damage it would cause would definitely be catastrophic. No one knew how many Black Flame sect disciples would die because of this sword. This was the method of besieging the way to rescue the Zhao. The shockwave and vitality clashed violently, forming a large amount of electromagnetism and light beams. The true God of Salvation was forced to use his territory power to negate the power contained in the sword. However, even so, many buildings within a few kilometers of the center were destroyed. Hundreds and thousands of Black Flame sect members screamed in agony and turned into ashes from the aftershock of the sword. How dare you! A furious bellow rang out right after the true God of Salvation's domain was shifted. With the voice, the power of another domain had already risen up, enveloping Qing Su. Another one? I wonder if the suffering true God has been lured out by me. However, 3 divine beings. This is beyond the limit of what I can fight against. Xing Hui's mind was filled with thoughts. However, the deep scarlet sword in his hand was not slow at all. At the moment when the territory of the third divine being from the Black Flame sect swept over, the dazzling sword light exploded again and tore apart the territory of the only true God that was covering his body. After tearing apart the territory of the only true God, Xing Hui no longer entangled himself with this divine realm expert. He became one with his sword and whizzed toward the energy node of the divine protection formation that had yet to be fully activated. An Almighty who was overseeing this place roared angrily and unleashed his divine power to stop him. However, what awaited him was Xing Hui's dazzling sword. I can't block it. Along with a terrified scream, the Almighty's divine power melted like snow under the attack of the Sword of the Sun. It instantly collapsed. The terrifying heat that rolled over forced him to retreat in fear. However, even so, the sword light from the Sword of the Sun that swept over still hit his body. There were a few holes in his body and he flew out with blood all over his body. Moreover, Xing Hui only needed to move forward with his sword and he would be able to kill this Almighty completely. However, the divine protection formation of the Black Flame sect was about to be fully activated and the 2 divine beings were chasing after him. He could not delay any longer. He could only give up on this Almighty and whizzed out of the formation. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared into the vast sea of clouds. Chapter 6:11. Bastard! The angry roar gradually stopped as the Black Flame sect's great divine blessing array was sealed. Even though it was only a few breaths later, 2 majestic forces had penetrated the great divine blessing array and appeared outside the array again. They swept out like a raging wave of territory energy. However, the sword light that Xing Hui had turned into was already far away from the Black Flame sect. It had rushed out of the Black Flame sect's sealing area. Damn it! The one true God appeared next to the world Savior true God. His face, which was filled with holiness and honor in the eyes of his believers, was gloomy. A divine tier cultivator had infiltrated the Black Flame sect and robbed the sect's treasury clean. The 2 divine tier experts had even tried to stop the thief at the same time. However, the thief still managed to escape. This was simply trampling on the entire Black Flame sect's reputation. If this matter were to spread, the entire Black Flame sect would be utterly disgraced. Seal off the news immediately. We can't let this matter leak out. The world savior true God ordered coldly. Behind him, the Purification sect leader and the guardian kings of the Black Flame sect looked troubled. I'm afraid there's a problem. Almost everyone in the sect knows about the scene where many almighties and two true gods attacked. I'm afraid it's hard to hide this matter. That's your problem. You allowed the thief to sneak into the Black Flame sect and rob everything in the sect's treasury. Is this the arrangement of the entire Black Flame sect? Luckily, we weren't in seclusion during this period of time. If we were in seclusion and the enemy sneaked into our cultivation room and killed us, would you still be oblivious? The world savior true God said sternly. The Purification sect leader trembled slightly and could only say hurriedly, "Don't worry, true God. I'll do my best to minimize the impact of this matter." We can't let go of the investigation of the thief, the one true God said calmly. The one true God at the side said indifferently, "This kid has grasped a divine ability that is proficient in speed. He also has a sword art that is shockingly powerful. With such a pure speed divine ability and shocking sword art, he definitely isn't a nobody. I want you guys to quickly investigate the clues and send them to me." "Yes, true God." The hierarch of purification bowed respectfully again. The one true God nodded and said no more. With a flash, he disappeared from the God protection array. The savior true God glanced in the direction that Xing Hui had left with a chilling look in his eyes. "Don't let me find you. Otherwise, I'll let you know the price you have to pay for offending the Black Flame Order." After saying that, he turned around and entered the God Bless Great Formation. Xing Hui naturally didn't know that his actions had already caused a divine stage giant of the Black Flame sect to hate him to the bone. If he knew, he might even think of luring this divine stage giant out and ambushing him. It was not easy to kill a saint stage powerhouse, and if they failed, they would never have a day of peace. All the forces related to the saint stage powerhouse would suffer the crazy revenge of the saint stage powerhouse. However, if they succeeded, the benefits of the saint stage powerhouse would be at least 1,000 Taoist rhymes. Swish. To prevent the Black Flame Order from catching up with him, Xing Hui purposely took a big detour. At the same time, he sent a part of his consciousness into the Chaos Shrine and found Su Tong and Blazing Glory, who were guarding the Chaos Shrine's primordial trade union. "I've just obtained a batch of items. This is the list of items. You can prepare to sell them one by one. If we need them internally, we can give them a discount. In short, sell these items as soon as possible and exchange them for Daoist items." As he spoke, Xing Hui had already sent a message to Su Tong in Blazing Glory. After receiving the message from Xing Hui, the two of them quickly browsed through it. In just a short while, they had already estimated the value of the items. Their eyes lit up. "President, there are a lot of items here. Although the price of each item isn't high, if we sell them at a reasonable price, we'll definitely make a profit of 400 Daoist rhymes. If you're willing to provide delivery service, the price of these items will be even higher." Delivery service, Xing Hui pondered for a while and shook his head. "I'm currently busy with some matters. I don't have the time for that. You can sell them first." "Yes, President. We'll arrange it right away. These items are the most popular items. It's very convenient to sell them. No matter how much you can provide, they'll be sold out within 10 days. Blazing Glory said with a smile. "I've only obtained these items by chance. I might not be able to get much." As Xing Hui said this, he seemed to have thought of something. "Wait a minute. I might be able to get some more." He thought of the God Ghost sect. He couldn't do anything to a Saint Realm cultivator, but as long as he was fast enough, he might be able to capture a celestial phenomenon cultivator alive. Perhaps, once he made a move, he would be surrounded by several Saint Realm cultivators from the Divine Ghost sect. However, if he could have people from the Sky Dome sect, the Rainbow Sword sect, and the Sword Shadow sect to help him, this matter wouldn't be too dangerous. Go and advertise. However, the transaction will take place half a month later. Tsing Hui said. Yes. The Primordial Trade Union was basically serving Tsing Hui. Su Tong and Blazing Glory naturally carried out Tsing Hui's orders. After leaving the Primordial Trade Union, Tsing Hui took a detour and flew towards Rainbow Sword sect. At the same time, he came to the Sky Vault sect and found Master Firmament. Seeing Qing Su's arrival, a sliver of joy appeared on Master Sky's face. By Su, you've come. I just happen to have something to talk to you about. I've already arranged your identity. You'll be a disciple of the Divine Ghost Sect's God-bearing peak. This is a mountain that the Divine Ghost Sect specially provides for the upper echelons of the sect to cultivate in seclusion. The defensive formation on it is extremely powerful, and once it's activated, it only needs 2 great existences to defend it, and they'll be able to block the attacks of 3 saints for an entire day and night. As a result, you need to head to the Divine Ghost Sect as soon as possible and enter the God-bearing peak. Otherwise, once the formation is activated, no one will be able to enter it unless Wang Qiqing comes out of seclusion. Oh. Tsing Hui nodded. I'll go right away. I've invited a Voidwalker from Sword Shadow. In addition, Sword Master Bai Heng will return to our Sky Vault sect soon. Once you succeed, we'll immediately attack the God Ghost sect and break in to rescue you. However, even if we invite a Voidwalker to bring us to the God Ghost sect with his 10th order personal space, it'll still take us 10 to 15 breaths of time to break in. During this time, I hope you can exert your speed to the best of your ability and stall for as much time as possible until we arrive. At this point, Master Firmament paused for a moment before continuing. As for the Divine Ghost Sect's mountain guarding formation, you don't have to worry about it. I have spies lying in ambush in the Divine Ghost Sect. They can destroy a few nodes of the mountain guarding formation at a critical moment and delay it for about 20 breaths of time. In other words, 10 to 15 breaths of time is enough. Tsing Hui nodded. The God Ghost Sect's strength was actually on par with the Black Flame Sect, and was slightly weaker than the Rainbow Sword Sect. It was only because they had the Divine Wilderness behind them that they were rather active. Tsing Hui believed that if he did not directly clash with the saints of the God Ghost Sect, it would not be a problem for him to last 10 breaths of time. If Firmament Master and Sword Master Bai Heng arrived, and the 3 sages of the Divine Ghost Sect dared to chase them out of the Divine Ghost Sect's territory, he wouldn't mind killing them with Sword Master Bai Heng, Firmament Master, and the others. That's right. As long as you can last for 15 breaths of time, we'll definitely be able to bring you back. Alright, I can go at any time. Tsing Hui nodded seriously. Although it would be impossible for him to go to the Divine Ghost Sect's treasury with his identity, if he could capture Wang Qiqing, the previous Divine Ghost Sect Master, the benefits he could obtain could not be underestimated. If we do this, won't the God Ghost Sect start an all-out war? Tsing Hui asked. If it was before, the God Ghost Sect would naturally kick us when we're down, but now, our Firmament, Rainbow Sword Sect, and Sword Shadow have joined together. A mere God Ghost Sect definitely does not have the courage. Even if they have the Divine Wilderness behind them, as long as the Divine Wilderness does not want to replace the Heavenly Tao and make our Firmament their opponent, they will definitely swallow their anger. Oh. Then, if I go a little overboard, it shouldn't be too big of a problem, right? You can do whatever you want. The Firmament Master waved his hand, giving Tsing Hui the greatest authority to act. Finally, he cautiously said, remember, everything has to be done to protect your own life. Your future is limitless, so you can't be so easily buried in a small God Ghost Sect. If you really encounter danger that you can't disintegrate, use the teleportation technique to escape. Although the dust-repelling stone in the God Ghost Sect has some interference with the teleportation technique, the interference is not great. At most, it will cause the teleportation location to be wrong, but it won't lead to the danger of entering a spatial mezzanine. If you use the teleportation technique to leave, as long as your luck isn't too bad and you don't end up in the nest of another peak force, there's no need to worry about any special danger. I understand. Leave it to me. I'll head to the God-Ghost sect now. N. When you reach the territory of the God-Ghost sect, go to Wuhao Mountain first. I'll have our spy in the God-Ghost sect wait for you there. When the time comes, just follow his arrangements. He'll take care of the matter of you entering the God-Ghost sect. All right. Xing Hui nodded. At the same time, his original body, which was flying towards the Rainbow Sword sect, changed direction and flew towards the God-Ghost sect. Remember, ensuring your own safety is the most important thing. If there's really no chance, or if you're in danger, just don't do anything. No one in the Firmament Master will blame you. The Firmament Master said solemnly. In fact, if it weren't for the fact that there was no suitable candidate, he, Zhangzhen Master, Yuanri Master, and the others wouldn't have agreed to let Xing Hui take the risk. But, Zhu Zhao Master was gradually unable to hold on, and the Chaos Treasure Pavilion didn't produce any innate divine charm. At present, the only way to get it was from the God-Ghost sect. Chapter 612. The Black Howl Mountain was famous for its unique rock structure. When the wind blew, the mountain would often emit ghostly cries and howls. It was considered a rather famous scenic spot within the Ghost God sect. At this time, Xing Hui was standing in an endless rock forest. Looking at the rocks of different sizes and shapes, he found it rather interesting. In fact, this kind of scenery existed on Earth as well, but it was not as large as this one. Lord! Xing Hui observed the rock forest for a while. A figure silently appeared beside him and whispered. How should I address you? Xing Hui looked at the plainly dressed middle-aged man who seemed to be the maintenance staff of this scenic spot and asked. Lord, you can call me Lang Ping. The man, Lang Ping, said and gestured with his hand. Lord, please follow me. We need to make some preparations. Xing Hui nodded slightly and followed Lang Ping around the rock forest for a while. Soon, they arrived at an underground tunnel hidden among the rocks. After walking through the tunnel for about 200 meters, they appeared in a stone room. Arriving in the stone room, Lang Ping handed a portrait to Qing Su. Sir, this is the identity of an elite disciple of the Divine Ghost sect that I obtained. This disciple is called Yuan Xiaohua, and he has lived in the Divine Ghost sect since he was young. His father and ancestors are all disciples of the Divine Ghost sect, so his background is extremely clean. Yuan Xiaohua is rather introverted and not good with words, so he doesn't have many close friends, which makes it easier for him to disguise himself. He basically never leaves the Divine Ghost sect, so there's no need to worry about any accidents. Half a month ago, he witnessed the junior sister that he had a crush on for many years having an affair with another senior brother, causing him to suffer from qi deviation and silently die. I just happened to discover it, so I covered it up. Outsiders still think that he's still cultivating in seclusion. His temperament is a bit lacking. Xing Hui could not help but be speechless when he heard about Yuan Xiaohua's fate. Lang Ping smiled. He has never left the Ghost God sect since he was young. His experience is close to zero. The reason he was able to cultivate to the level of transcendent is because of his good talent and the unique environment of the Ghost God sect. Xing Hui nodded. This Lang Ping's appearance is somewhat similar to mine. I can go to the mountain of accumulating God in his place with a little disguise. That's right. I was worried that Lord might not be able to conceal your presence and imitate the qi waves of a transcendent cultivator. But it seems that I worried too much. Lang Ping looked at Xing Hui. Even though Xing Hui had not used the immortal art to stand at Shadowless, his presence did not leak out at all. Yuan Xiaohua doesn't know many people, and he doesn't have the chaotic level. There are only a few people who can tell the difference in his qi waves. As long as your luck is not too bad and you don't do anything suspicious, the Ghost God sect will not suspect you and want to verify your chi waves. Therefore, as long as you disguise yourself a little and control your chi waves to maintain the level of transcendent, you will be fine. But whether or not you can come into contact with Wang Qicheng on the mountain of accumulating God, or even personally deliver food and cultivation materials to Wang Qicheng will depend on your performance. I understand that. Tsing Hui nodded slightly. You can just send me to the mountain of accumulating God. Very well, I will help you disguise yourself a little. Sorry for the offense. Lang Ping said, and soon began to fiddle with Tsing Hui's body. In order to ensure naturalness, he only made some slight changes. But as Tsing Hui deliberately imitated Yuan Shaohua and changed his presence, it was still 70 to 80% similar. Alright, although there are still some differences, I don't think it will arouse too much suspicion. It's fine. I will directly reveal the presence of the never-ending realm. After breaking through, true Yuan will feed back into my body. It is completely reasonable that there will be some changes to my body. Lang Ping could not help but be surprised. You can perfectly imitate the presence of every level. Tsing Hui smiled. In the next moment, his presence changed from the transcendent realm to the never-ending realm. Moreover, it was a never-ending realm that had just broken through. Anyone who saw him would definitely think that he was a newcomer who had stepped into the never-ending realm less than 10 days ago. This method is too ingenious. Lang Ping carefully sized up Tsing Hui for a moment. After confirming that the disguise was flawless, he could not help but praise from the bottom of his heart. It should be about time. Tsing Hui said. He had only used some small tricks from the shadowless stance. There was nothing ingenious about it at all. In the final analysis, it was still because the divine beast bloodline cultivation system could derive too few miracles. Everyone was straightforward, competing with their cultivation base, bloodline, true chi, and divine weapons. Even the secret techniques and moves were not studied much. Under such circumstances, the originally extremely mysterious immortal techniques were invisible, and even some of the small tricks derived from them were enough to make them exclaim in admiration. Now, Milord's chances of getting close to Wang Qicheng are even greater. Yuan Shaohua is less than 100 years old, yet he has reached the never-ending realm. Even if he cannot be considered a top genius in the divine ghost sect, he is not far from it. Moreover, his background is truly too solid. As long as Milord performs well, there is even a chance that you will be able to catch Wang Qicheng's eye and receive his free guidance. Tsing Hui nodded. There is no time to lose. Let us return to the divine ghost sect as quickly as possible. Yes, yes. Milord, please follow me. Saying so, Lang Ping brought Tsing Hui back to the divine ghost sect at full speed. On the way to the divine ghost sect, Lang Ping told Tsing Hui about Yuan Shaohua's habits of speech, social circle, and so on. Because Yuan Shaohua's life was simple, Tsing Hui did not need to spend much effort to remember. After Qin Su learnt about Yuan Shaohua's life, Lang Ping successfully brought him to the soul-accumulating peak, allowing him to emerge from Yuan Shaohua's courtyard naturally. He completely replaced Yuan Shaohua as a person. This Yuan Shaohua's life is very simple. Tsing Hui walked to the loft where Yuan Shaohua lived. Looking at the simple decorations in the loft, he was a little surprised. Milord, we can only patiently wait for the divine wilderness's side to make a move. Wang Qicheng is currently adjusting his state in the profound God Mountain. When the divine wilderness sends the innate charm over, it will probably be the time for Wang Qicheng to completely go into seclusion. This period of time will probably not exceed a month. In this month, Milord has to find a way to catch Wang Qicheng's eye as soon as possible. Lang Ping reminded in a low voice. Don't worry, I have my own plans for this. Tsing Hui said. He did not have any thoughts of pleasing Wang Qicheng. He only wanted to wait for someone in the divine wilderness to send the innate charm to Wang Qicheng. After Wang Qiqing went into seclusion, he would directly capture Wang Qiqing alive and bring him to his personal space. He would then interrogate him about the chaos incantation, innate charm, Tao charm, and divine weapons. After squeezing all the value out of him, he would instantly refine him into a Tao fruit. Along the way, he could be said to be proficient in these methods. Then, in order to avoid arousing suspicion, I will take my leave first. If there is anything, my lord can contact me in the Chaos Divine Palace. Go. Xing Hui nodded. Lang Ping bowed slightly and left the loft. Array. Xing Hui wandered around Yuan Shaohua's loft for a while, when a book quickly caught his attention. This book unexpectedly recorded a lot of information about array formations. Although Xing Hui was not proficient in array formations, but his vision was extraordinary. After flipping through the book, he was surprised to find that Yuan Shaohua's understanding of array formations was not bad, and was at least at the level of an 8th-order array master. According to the saying of the Heaven Wasteland domain, the 1st to 3rd order were array formation apprentices, the 4th to 6th order were ordinary array formation masters, and the 7th to 9th order were already senior array formation masters. As for those who were able to set up formations of the 10th to 12th order, they were often respected as array masters. Array formations were different from divine weapons and pills. A 12th order formation referred to the maximum power that a 12th order expert could display, and this so-called maximum power was often able to increase the attack, defense, recovery, detection, and other characteristics of a 12th order expert by several times, or even more than 10 times. An Earth-level expert who had been enhanced by more than 10 times could easily face a Saint expert head-on. Even the divine protection array that protected the mountain gate of the Black Flame sect was only at the 12th order. It could be seen that the array formation was extraordinary. Although Yuan Shaohua was only an 8th order array master, he had also stepped into the ranks of senior array formation masters. It was unknown whether it was because he kept a low profile, or because he was not good at studying array formations, but this matter was not publicized, so no one knew about it. An 8th order array master who is not even 100 years old, his status is comparable to an ordinary Jindan stage elder. Yuan Shaohua can be called a talent. Xing Hui muttered to himself as he flipped through the books. But as soon as he finished speaking, one of the books made his action of flipping through the pages paused. This is. Xing Hui lowered his head slightly, approached the book, and carefully read it. After a while, a smile appeared on his face. It seems that I have picked up a treasure. This Yuan Shaohua, I don't know whether it is because he has stayed in the Yunshan Peak for a long time or because he has other channels, but he has actually studied 30 to 40% of the 9 rotation dragon formation of the Yunshan Peak. 30 to 40% is not much, but if it is combined with my aura examination skill, even if the 9 rotation dragon formation is activated in the future, I can still travel freely in this array formation. With a trace of excitement, Xing Hui could not wait to memorize all the information about the 9 rotation dragon formation in his mind. Since the Yunshan Peak was a mountain specially used by the sect's higher-ups for closed-door training, besides those absolutely trustworthy disciples, there was only one real array master on the mountain, and that was the person in closed-door training. In other words, unless the person in closed-door training announced that he had finished his training, anyone who wanted to enter the mountain or even leave the mountain could only rely on forcibly tearing apart the 9 rotation dragon formation. In this way, it was much more feasible. If it went well, he could even kill Wang Qiqing without alerting anyone. Let's see how vigilant Wang Qiqing is and how strong he is. Xing Hui said. What followed was a long wait. In fact, it did not take long. Xing Hui quietly replaced Yuan Shaohua's identity and stayed on the Yunshan Peak for 12 days, when a mighty aura descended upon the divine ghost sect. Without guessing, Xing Hui knew that it must be a divine domain giant of the divine wilderness who had come in person to personally escort the extremely precious innate charm. Less than 2 days after the divine domain giant of the divine wilderness arrived, someone immediately went up to the Yunshan Peak for a careful inspection. This inspection not only included the normality of the array, but also the loyalty of the personnel and many other details. Because this inspection was the second time, the intensity was not as strong as the one a month ago. In addition, Tsing Hui's Yuan Xiaohua did not seem to have left the Yunshan Peak at all, so he passed the inspection safely. 3 days later, Wang Qiqing finally arrived at the Yunshan Peak, and then personally opened the 9-rotation dragon formation of the Yunshan Peak. Chapter 613. Sure enough, Yuan Xiaohua has a deep understanding of the 9-rotating dragon formation. Tsing Hui relied on the qi observing skill, looking at the layer of flowing light enveloping the God-accumulating peak and comparing it with Yuan Xiaohua's experience notes. The direction of all the energy flow was the palace at the top of the God-accumulating peak. That was to say, the 9-rotating dragon formation was now completely in the hands of Wang Qiqing, who was in closed-door training in the palace. The 9-rotating dragon formation was extremely powerful and had reached the 12th level. When it was running, unless there was an aura of the divine realm soaring into the sky, no one could sense the changes inside. Tsing Hui's eyes paused on the path of the energy flow for a moment, and soon focused on a point. If I can't severely injure, defeat, and capture Wang Qiqing in the first place, then I can temporarily destroy this node and cut off the connection between the 9-rotating dragon formation and Wang Qiqing for 2 breaths. 2 breaths is not enough time for Wang Qiqing to enter the law phenomenon state. It's enough to severely injure and capture him alive. After considering these possible problems, Tsing Hui stepped forward and went to the core of the palace. In the courtyard where Wang Qiqing was in closed-door training, a man in the transformative realm was reporting something to an old man in the gold core realm who was sitting cross-legged. Seeing Tsing Hui coming, the old man's eyes immediately fell on him and he said with a trace of vigilance, "What's the matter? Master hasn't called for anything yet." Tsing Hui knew this old man. He was a loyal old servant of Wang Qiqing, named Yuan Xiu. He immediately said, "The old sect master hasn't started closed-door training yet, right? I just thought of something important to discuss with the old sect master. Please report it to me, Elder Xiu." "What's the matter? Tell me." "Although master hasn't started closed-door training, he is in a state of recuperation and can't be disturbed." "No. I can only talk to the old sect master about this matter." Qing Su shook his head. In the end, he added, "This matter is related to the old sect master's cultivation. As a result, I hope Elder Xiu can pass the message to me and let me see the sect master." "Huh, Yuan Xiaohua, what can you possibly have that is related to the old sect master's cultivation? If you want to see the old sect master, you don't have to show your loyalty at this time. It won't be too late to ask for an audience after the old sect master finishes cultivating." The man in the transcendent state who reported to Yuan Xiu sneered. However, Tsing Hui ignored him and continued to look at Yuan Xiu. "This matter is very important. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come to see the old sect master at such a critical moment. If this matter isn't handled properly, it might even cause the old sect master to fail his advancement. If that's the case, can you bear the responsibility?" Tsing Hui's words made Yuan Xiu and the man in the transcendent state change their expressions. Among them, Yuan Xiu shouted, "Nonsense! The old sect master's advancement was already in the bag, so how could it fail? If you continue to spout nonsense here and cause bad luck, be careful that I don't punish you on the spot." "Oh, you're not even going to try?" Tsing Hui was a little surprised. He thought that since he kept saying that he had the information related to Wang Qiqing's advancement, he would at least be brought by Yuan Xiu to see Wang Qiqing, even if he didn't gain Wang Qiqing's trust. In this way, he could take action directly and take the risk of disturbing Wang Qiqing because he had to deal with Yuan Xiu and the others. But now, humph, what kind of person is the old sect master? He already knows the condensation of the field domain like the back of his hand. As long as the innate spirit essence arrives, he will naturally step into the divine realm. You're spouting nonsense here, cursing the old sect master to be hopeless. What's your intention? If it weren't for the fact that you're a disciple of Mount Yun, I would have killed you on the spot because of your rude words. Now, why don't you retreat quickly? Do you really want to die? When Qing Su saw the killing intent in Yuan Xiu's eyes, he knew that it would be impossible for him to avoid dealing with him and meet Wang Qiqing directly. He immediately said rather regretfully, "It looks like I really don't have much talent for bewitching people." If that's the case, whoosh. In the next moment, the sharp sword in Xing Hui's hand had already stabbed at Yuan Xiu at an incredible speed. Even though Yuan Xiu stared at Xing Hui and was already on guard against Xing Hui, under the passive enhancement of the light-chasing magic, the speed of Xing Hui's sword had risen to a level that almost exceeded the reaction limit of an expert in the golden elixir realm. When Yuan Xiu suddenly woke up and opened his eyes angrily, the rolling sword chi of the Scarlet Abyss sword had already pierced through his throat. Then, the sword chi exploded and turned the golden elixir realm expert into blood foam on the spot. The man in the transcendent state originally wanted to cooperate with Yuan Xiu to slander Yuan Xiaohua and suppress his position in Mount Yunshan. However, he was shocked when he saw that Yuan Xiaohua had killed Yuan Xiu with one strike. When he woke up, he opened his mouth to shout. However, before he could shout, the sword chi of the Scarlet Abyss sword turned slightly and tore through his body. The terrifying temperature mixed in the sword chi exploded and burned the man in the stage of outer fringe to ashes on the spot. After killing the two cultivators in less than half a breath's time, Xing Hui's figure leaped and was about to rush to the courtyard. However, when he rushed to the courtyard, he seemed to have sensed something. His gaze immediately fell on a true energy realm disciple who happened to be less than 200 meters away from the courtyard and happened to be carrying some things. When he looked at the true energy realm disciple also looked at him in shock. His eyes were filled with uncontrollable fear. Whoosh! The Scarlet Abyss sword vibrated and a sword light tore through the void. At this moment, the true energy realm disciple who suddenly saw this terrifying scene suddenly woke up. True energy surged all over his body and he shouted, "Enemy, bang!" The sword chi penetrated and the heat wave collapsed. Like the stage of outer fringe expert, this true energy realm disciple was burned to ashes by the terrifying heat contained in the sword chi along with the surging true energy on his body. However, this true energy realm disciple's shout still spread a little. Soon, several auras of the golden elixir realm rose from the profound god peak. Since I can't make a move quietly, then, Xing Hui no longer covered his tracks. He was too lazy to care about the auras of the golden elixir realm erupting from the profound god peak. He burst out with speed and rushed directly to the courtyard where Wang Qiqing was in seclusion. At the same time, his left hand suddenly waved and pinched into a sword finger. The bright sword light instantly shot at the node of the 9 rotation dragon formation, causing the formation to be slightly sluggish. Rumble. At the same time that the formation was sluggish, Xing Hui's body, which was mixed with the brilliant sword light, crashed into Wang Qiqing's courtyard. All the lofts, jade halls, gardens, and flowers along the way were all burned to ashes the moment Xing Hui crashed into the courtyard. At the same time that he crashed into the courtyard, an angry roar came from the courtyard, "Who dares to behave so atrociously in my divine ghost sect?" Amidst the angry roar, there was a burst of divine ability. A blazing flame formed the shadow of a vermilion bird, which spread its wings and soared. Endless light and heat rose above the shattered courtyard. The power it emitted was not inferior to a great divine ability at all. This was a fire attribute divine ability that had been deduced to the extreme. Moreover, because the user had studied this divine ability to the extreme, the fusion of the minor divine ability in the main divine ability was completed almost instantly, causing outsiders to be unable to see the process of the fusion of the main and minor divine abilities. It was as if he had used a great divine ability from the beginning, and its power was extremely vast. Crimson Wing Soar. Accompanied by Wang Qiqing's resounding roar, the vermilion bird shadow that radiated with destructive power raised its head and cried out. Scorching Nanming primordial fire shot out from its body. This was a primordial fire that was no weaker than the grand solar true fire of the Golden Crow. The moment it enveloped the surroundings, it basically completely suppressed Tsing Hui's blazing sword light. Vermilion bird. A cold light flashed through Tsing Hui's eyes. If your divine ability had something to do with other divine beasts or saint beasts, I might have to expend quite a bit of effort to take you down in a single stroke, but now, rumble. In the next moment, a brilliant sword intent shone out brazenly from Tsing Hui's mental world. Like a scorching sun, it suddenly leapt out of the darkness and radiated with boundless light, illuminating the entire world. Chasing light. Sun burst. The brilliant sword intent, mixed with the terrifying power of the falling sun, fiercely collided with the vermilion bird shadow that spread its wings and soared in the sky. Suddenly, this flame divine ability that was as powerful as a great divine ability was like magma that was smashed by a scorching sun. Everything was annihilated. In front of the scorching sun, no matter how high the temperature of magma was, it could not escape the fate of being annihilated. What divine ability is this? Oh no! Wang Qicheng's face revealed an uncontrollable look of horror. He roared and did not care about the outcome of the battle between the two divine abilities at all. He immediately retreated, and at the same time, he waved his hand and was about to mobilize the power of the entire 9 revolving dragon formation on the profound God Mountain to fight against the enemy. But in just a moment, his face had become even more unsightly. The connection between him and the 9 revolving dragon formation was actually interfered with. Although this interference seemed to only need 1 or 2 breaths of time to disappear, but, would his enemy give him this opportunity? The answer was no. Not only would he not. On the contrary, Tsing Hui's speed in the state of chasing light was stimulated to the limit. Not to mention giving Wang Qicheng a chance to mobilize the power of the 9 revolving dragon formation. When he retreated and thought that he could escape from Tsing Hui's attack range, a second mighty and blazing sword light had already pierced through the void at an unimaginable speed and slashed in front of him, completely filling the void around him. No! Divine King, save me! Amidst Wang Qicheng's shocked and furious cries, this courtyard and the summit of this mountain had been completely submerged in a burst of brilliant light. Chapter 6:14. While Tsing Hui and Wang Qicheng were fighting, Divine King Constellation, one of the 3 divine kings of the divine ghost sect, looked towards the direction of the God-accumulating peak with surprise in his eyes. What a dense and domineering blazing intent. Is Qicheng in such a hurry to start? The array of the God-accumulating peak could perfectly conceal all energy ripples below the divine realm. Even the aura of the divine realm would be greatly weakened and become unreal. Because of this, although he was surprised by the energy ripples from the God-accumulating peak, he didn't react immediately because they were both of the fire attribute. After a few breaths of time, Divine King Constellation, who felt that something was wrong, suddenly thought of something and his eyes widened. Something's wrong. That blazing intent isn't the descent of the Vermilion Bird King, but the domineering aura of the Golden Crow. And Wang Qicheng has awakened the Vermilion Bird bloodline, not the Golden Crow. Not good. The next moment, his terrifying aura of the Saint stage completely erupted. Like a rainbow streaking across the void, he whizzed toward the God-accumulating peak. His powerful and mighty domain was like a torrential river, enveloping the God-accumulating peak with a radius of more than 10 kilometers. Divine King Constellation. That's the power of his domain. Divine King Constellation is truly worthy of being the Divine King of our divine ghost sect who awakened the Star Turtle sacred beast. Once his domain is formed, he can create an innate array. In terms of encirclement, there are very few divine realm powerhouses in the entire divine wilderness that can compare with him. Why is Divine King Constellation rushing towards the God-accumulating peak? Is it because of the terrifying energy that burst out of the God-accumulating peak? That's clearly the old sect master trying to break through to the divine realm. Could it be that something happened to the old sect master during the process? Divine King Constellation's large-scale use of his domain to sweep across the God-accumulating peak naturally alarmed the entire Divine Ghost sect. For a moment, many of the middle and upper echelons of the Divine Ghost sect looked towards the direction of the God-accumulating peak in bewilderment. Some of them even soared into the void and flew towards Divine King Constellation, wanting to ask if there was anything they could do to help. Chi-Ching, are you alright? Quickly open the God-accumulating peak. If you don't open it in 3 breaths of time, I will forcefully break through the 9 revolving dragon formation and enter the God-accumulating peak. Constellation Divine King shouted from outside with a grave expression. At this time, the other 2 Divine Kings of the Divine Ghost sect, Divine King Calamity Battle and Divine King Violent Earth, also noticed Divine King Constellation's abnormality. They immediately appeared at the side of the Skanda peak. Divine King Constellation, what's going on? Is it because of that blazing aura? Could it be that something happened when Chi-Ching tried to break through to the Divine Realm? Constellation Divine King nodded his head seriously. Chi-Ching is my disciple, and I know him very well. Although that Chi belongs to the fire attribute Chi, and is rather strange, it clearly has the power of the Saint stage, but it is not the Saint stage, and is rather similar to the signs of breaking through to the Saint stage. But according to my careful analysis, the essence of that blazing Chi is not the vermilion bird true flames, but the great sun true flames of the golden crow. What I'm afraid of now is that someone is hiding in the mountain of accumulating spirit, trying to ambush Red City. Their goal is to take the innate charm that we exchanged for at a high price from the divine wilderness. What? Who dares to have such guts to have designs on our Divine Ghost sect's innate divine charm right under our noses? They are simply courting death. Hearing this, Divine King Calamity Battle and Divine King Violent Earth Divine King's eyes filled with killing intent. The innate charm is related to whether or not one can step into the divine realm in a single step. In our divine wilderness, there are many celestial phenomenon of heaven and earth experts, and there are also many who have the qualifications to step into the divine realm. But because of the lack of resources, the innate charm is scarce. Many people who clearly have the ability to step into the divine realm can only stop at the celestial phenomenon of heaven and earth. Under such circumstances, some people have gotten the news that our Divine Ghost sect exchanged for an innate charm from the divine wilderness, and want to take the risk. It is reasonable. Constellation Divine King sneered, but, I really want to know, even if they really have the ability to take away the innate charm, will they be able to take it away from our Divine Ghost sect? After saying that, he ordered the current sect master of the Divine Ghost sect, Li Fenglei, who was quickly flying over, immediately activate the Great Dust Separating Array and activate the Dust Separating Stones to the maximum. If he really plans on using the teleportation technique to escape, send him directly to the depths of the primal chaos. Divine King Calamity Battle and Divine King Violent Earth Divine King slightly nodded, their faces filled with ferocity. To actually have designs on our Divine Ghost sect, he truly doesn't know the meaning of death. When the Great Dust Separating Array is activated, although it will consume a lot of dust separating stones, the interference with space has already reached the maximum. Normally, if he uses the teleportation technique within our Divine Ghost sect, he will at most be sent to the interlayers of space. If he has an extremely high-grade domain treasure or heavenly paradise stone, he can still find a chance to safely return. But with the Great Dust Separating Array activated, he still forcefully uses the teleportation technique. If he is not careful, he will be sent to the depths of the primal chaos. Those places are much more dangerous than the interlayers of space. That is the worst choice. The best way is for us to capture him alive and take back the innate charm. With us 3 saints here, do you think we can't do anything to a junior who hasn't even reached the saint realm? After saying that, Divine King Constellation's gaze landed on the God-accumulating peak. It has already been 2 breaths and there is no movement from the God-accumulating peak. It seems that something has indeed happened. Everyone, there is no time to lose. We will act now and forcefully tear apart the 9 revolving dragon array to prevent any unforeseen events from happening. All right. If you think a single 9 revolving dragon array can protect you, then you are gravely mistaken. Don't forget, this array was set up internally by our divine ghost sect. How can you compare to us in terms of understanding of this array? Divine King Calamity and Divine King Ruthless nodded heavily. The 3 saints' domains immediately erupted in full force. Like a surging tsunami, they crashed towards the activated 9 revolving dragon array on the God-accumulating peak with the momentum of Mount Tai. The 9 revolving dragon coiling formation could be said to be astonishingly powerful, but just as the ruthless Earth God King had said, this formation was set up by their divine ghost sect, so they naturally knew the changes in the formation like the back of their hand. If it was an ordinary saint, even if 3 saints attacked together, it would not be an easy task to tear apart the 9 revolving dragon coiling formation, but, the first wave of attacks from the 3 saint realm experts had already struck the 9 circle dragon coiling formation to the point it was on the verge of collapse. If this continued, then it wouldn't be long before the 9 circle dragon coiling formation would collapse completely. God Kings, it's bad. 2 saints are currently heading towards our divine ghost sect with extreme speed. They've already reached the center of our sect, and in less than 10 seconds, they'll officially set foot in our sect. According to the pulses of energy they give off, they're Swordmaster Bai Heng of the Fogbow Sword Sect and Master Tianxiong of Tianxiong. At this moment, the sect master of the Divine Ghost Sect, Li Fenglei, seemed to have received a report from someone below, so he spoke to the God Kings in a panic. What? Swordmaster Bai Heng of the Fogbow Sword Sect and Master Tianxiong of Tianxiong. God damn it, they're actually the ones behind this. I've been wondering as well. No matter how bold us saints are, they wouldn't be bold enough to invade our divine ghost sect and steal our innate charm. So there's actually someone supporting them from behind. Bastards. The Fogbow Sword Sect and Tianxiong sure are bold. Do they want to declare war on our divine ghost sect? The 3 God Kings were both shocked and furious when they received the news. However, they had forgotten that they had sent powerful existences to invade Tianxiong's territory more than once, even taking over several of his resource points. As for the true energy, transformative, never-ending, and golden core cultivators they had killed, they numbered in the hundreds. The only reason they hadn't killed their powerful existences was because they had forced Tianxiong and the Divine Ghost Sect to declare war on each other. The 3 God Kings were furious for a moment, but they calmed down at the same time. Swordmaster Bai Heng was no weakling. He could be described as one of the most powerful existences below the sovereigns. Master Tianxiong was slightly weaker than Swordmaster Bai Heng, but as the leader of Tianxiong and a veteran expert who had reached the saint realm over 1,000 years ago, he possessed methods and weapons that surpassed regular saints. If it weren't for the protective formation, the 2 of them could wipe out the entire divine ghost sect together. Thinking up to there, God King Constellation immediately ordered, activate the protective formation immediately. What about Swordmaster Bai Heng? So what if he's Master Tianxiong? With our protective formation activated, does he still dare to kill his way into our divine ghost sect? If he really dares to force his way into our protective formation, I'm even confident that he won't be able to return alive. Yes. I've already ordered people to activate the protective formation. We should be able to activate it completely before they arrive. Li Fenglei said. God King Brutality, God King Calamity, the 2 of you go and stop Swordmaster Bai Heng and Master Tianxiong. Leave this to me. God King Constellation said. Okay. God King Calamity nodded. A cold glint flashed in the eyes of the Violence God King. Swordmaster Bai Heng and Venerable Firmament. It is rumored that they belong to the group of people in the saint stage who are second only to the 10 supreme experts. If we were to meet under normal circumstances, I would be a little afraid of them, but in the territory of our divine ghost sect, with the support of the array, I want to see what kind of tricks they can play. As they spoke, their gazes were already fixed on the large transparent vortex that was gradually forming in the air. That large transparent vortex that covered an area of nearly 1,000 kilometers was the protective formation of their divine ghost sect. It was called the Wheel of Life and Death Formation, and was a peak 12th level formation. This was also the reason why the Divine Ghost Sect was able to establish their sect here. Let's go. God King Calamity and God King Brutality both growled at the same time and quickly flew out of the sect. However, before they could fly to the entrance of the mountain and meet Sword Master Bai Heng and Master Tsang Qiong, who were rushing in their direction, a series of continuous explosions came from a dozen places in the Divine Ghost Gate. Then, the transparent vortex that was gradually forming in the void seemed to be disturbed by some kind of power and stopped abruptly. Chapter 6:15. What's going on? Constellation God King roared as he stared at the array that had suddenly stopped functioning. Li Fenglei immediately sent a message to inquire. A moment later, he replied with an ugly expression, "Someone destroyed the Samsara Wheel Array foundation. Damn it, 20 breaths of time, we need 20 breaths of time to repair it. 20 breaths of time. The enemy will give us 20 breaths of time to repair the array." Constellation God King roared angrily. At this moment, two streaks of light whizzed over from the horizon. They quickly appeared above the Divine Ghost Sect. Sword Master Bai Heng and Master Firmament had arrived. Firmament. Bai Heng Sword Sect. Seeing the two invincible holiness experts in the sky, Violence God King and Calamity God King's eyes flashed with blood. Innate charm. In order to help Wang Qicheng, the previous sect master who had been at the peak of astronomical phenomenon for hundreds of years, condense his domain and step into the holiness realm, they had exchanged countless benefits with the divine wilderness to finally obtain the innate charm that would allow Wang Qicheng to condense his domain's origin. Once Wang Qicheng broke through to the holiness realm, their God-Ghost sect, as a sect with 4 holiness experts, would greatly increase their strength. At that time, their original strategic plans would take a significant turn for the better. Unfortunately, now, a portion of innate divine essence that was sufficient to allow an expert of the heavenly phenomenon earthly realm to step into the godly realm had been devoured by the joint forces of Skydome and Rainbow Sword Sect. Because of this, Skydome and Rainbow Sword Sect had even come knocking on their door. This scene caused the eyes of these two gods to instantly turn red. Firmament, Bai Heng, do you two really want to become mortal enemies with our God-Ghost sect? Violence God King's eyes were filled with savagery, his voice filled with rage. Violence God King, what is the meaning of this? Master Firmament stared at God King Brutality in front of him with an indifferent attitude. I've come to your God Devil sect this time mainly to demand an explanation for the fact that you've devoured several of Firmament's resource points in the past year. Your God Devil sect has repeatedly invaded Firmament's borders and killed hundreds and thousands of Firmament's members. Do you really think Firmament is easy to bully? Today, let me see what kind of courage your Divine Ghost sect has to dare to treat my heavenly dome as nothing. As soon as he finished speaking, Master Firmament waved his hand and a beautiful figure suddenly appeared beside Master Firmament. The aura emitted from this figure was only at the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth level. However, the divine sword in her arms instantly made Godly King Brutality and Godly King Calamity stare. Sky Sword Wielder, Lan Rui. Lan Rui was not a saint, but he was more like a saint. In some aspects, she couldn't compare to the true invincible powerhouses of the saint realm. However, with the peerless divine weapon, the heavenly sword, in her hand, there were many times when she could erupt with a terrifying combat strength that wasn't inferior to the invincible powerhouses of the saint realm. Firmament, Lan Rui, and Sword Master Bai Heng. This lineup was already close to the full strength of the heavenly dome of the past. If not for the fact that Sword Master Bai Heng was slightly weaker than Reverend Zhu Zhao, the entire heavenly dome would have come out in full force. Looking at this lineup, then glancing at the Wheel of Life and Death formation that still needed some time to be fully activated, the fury in the hearts of God King Brutality, God King Calamity Battle, and God King Constellation, who was attacking the 9 revolving dragon formation, rapidly cooled down as though a basin of ice water had been poured over them. You. Firmament, you Firmament really want to start an all-out war with our God Ghost sect? Cut the crap. Your divine ghost sect dares to provoke my Firmament. Today, let me see if you have the guts to do so. After the fight, you can talk to my Firmament again. Guru Firmament roared, and the power of his domain swept out. A ring appeared in the center of the domain, enveloping it, causing the entire domain to undergo a huge transformation. It became extremely sturdy, as if it was about to become a real world. It leaped out from the illusory world and suppressed this area. 10 World Rings. This was Master Firmament's famous divine artifact, the 10 World Rings. With this divine artifact, Master Firmament had become a pinnacle saint below the 10 sovereigns. However, his strength mainly came from the divine artifact and not himself, so he was slightly inferior to Sword Master Baiheng in terms of reputation. When Master Firmament made his move, Sword Master Baiheng also made his move. The resplendent swordlight was like a scorching sun that illuminated the world, filling the sky above the God Ghost sect in an instant. When the countless experts in the God Ghost sect looked up, their eyes were pierced by the powerful light. Even the powerful existences who had cultivated divine abilities were dazzled when they looked directly at the sword light. Under this strike, everyone felt a fatal threat that originated from their souls. God damn it. Sword Master Baiheng, your rainbow sword sect is meddling in other people's business. The ruthless divine king roared furiously. His powerful domain forcefully covered the sword light that was like a scorching sun in the void. Powerful mystiques were born from the domain in a futile attempt to destroy the scorching sword light. However, the outcome was just as he had expected. The moment the sword light slashed down, the various mystiques were destroyed. They were like snow that was exposed to the scorching sun, rapidly melting away. The ruthless God King was suppressed by Sword Master Baiheng the moment they clashed, while God King Huaido was not in a much better situation. With the amplification of the 10 World Rings, Venerable Firmament's domain was so strong that it was close to forming a world. Under the sweep of his domain, God King Calamity Battle was completely trapped in his domain. Even though God King Calamity Battle had unleashed all his domain power, he was still suppressed by Venerable Firmament's domain power. He was unable to break free. On the other hand, as Master Firmament controlled his domain to suppress God King Huaido, he flew out as well, directly charging into the Divine Ghost sect. If no one stopped him, he would directly attack and completely destroy the Divine Ghost sect's Wheel of Life and Death formation. Firmament. Seeing this, the constellation God King who was attacking the God-gathering peak felt his heart sink. He was forced to turn around and attack Master Firmament. Your opponent is me. Lan Rui stepped forward and slashed out with his sword. As the sword light shot out, space froze. The surrounding several hundred meters seemed to turn into a mirror. Afterwards, the mirror shattered. The spiritual energy, Yuan Qi, air, and even the tiniest bit of matter within the mirror, along with the constellation God King's domain, were all pulverized, turning into a vacuum. With a single strike, Lan Rui had already slashed a hole several hundred meters wide in the constellation God King's domain. Rumble. As Lan Rui blocked the constellation God King, streams of light scattered from the God-gathering peak. The 9 revolving dragon formation that the 3 God Kings of the Divine Ghost sect could not take down suddenly opened. Tsing Hui turned into a streak of light and shot out, instantly flying out of the Divine Ghost sect. Stop him. Seeing that Tsing Hui was about to escape, the constellation God King roared. Instantly, several dozen God Kings of the Divine Ghost sect burst into action at the same time. One divine ability after another swept out, carrying a mighty torrent of power that tore through the void, heading straight for Tsing Hui who was charging out of the God-gathering peak. Unfortunately, although the divine abilities of these God Kings were powerful, with each strike able to blast a hole in a domain for a short period of time, Tsing Hui was too fast. Several dozen divine abilities blotted out the sky, forming a destructive torrent. However, before this destructive torrent could truly devour Tsing Hui had already left it far behind. Without waiting for the second wave of destructive torrent to form, he tore through the void at an unbelievable speed, bringing with him a piercing sonic boom as he charged out of the divine ghost sect. His speed was so fast that everyone's eyes widened. This speed-type divine ability. The aura of the Golden Crow. Could it be the legendary rainbow transformation technique? Damn it, too fast, too fast. Without anyone trapping him, our divine abilities can't hit him at all. The three God Kings and the God Kings looked at the figure that shot out of the divine ghost sect with lightning speed and were instantly at a loss. Sword Master Bai Heng is here. I didn't expect Sword Saint Lan Rui to be here as well. In terms of strength, our side should already be above the divine ghost sect, right? Esteemed Lord, should we teach the divine ghost sect a lesson and kill one of their God Kings? Tsing Hui shot out of the divine ghost sect at full speed. It looked like he did not have any interaction with the people of Sky Dome, but in reality, he was secretly sending a message. Kill one of the divine ghost sect's God Kings. When the Heavenly Master heard Tsing Hui mention this matter, he could not help but be slightly startled, but after a moment, he immediately denied it. No, every God King can basically push their primal chaos level to the 30th level at a critical moment and use teleportation to escape. It's not easy to kill them. Furthermore, even though the divine ghost sect's life and death will formation has been destroyed by our spies, it won't be long before it reactivates. Once the divine ghost sect's life and death will formation is activated, relying on the formation's power, the few of us will probably be in great danger. Therefore, since the plan is going smoothly, it's best to retreat as soon as possible. Tsing Hui was about to say that as long as Sword Master Bai Heng cooperated with him, he was confident that he could kill one of the divine ghost sect's God Kings before the life and death will formation was truly activated, but at this time, the Heavenly Master added, in addition, behind the divine ghost sect stands the divine desolate. Although our Heavenly Master, Sword Shadow, and Rainbow Sword sect have intimidated the Heavenly Tao and made the Heavenly Tao not dare to act rashly, if we completely offend the divine desolate, it is very likely that the Heavenly Tao and the divine ghost sect will join forces and restart the war with our Heavenly Dome. In a situation where esteemed Zhu Zhao is heavily injured and has yet to recover, our Heavenly Dome is unable to withstand this kind of turmoil. Therefore, now is not the time to completely start a war with the divine ghost sect. Hearing this, Tsing Hui nodded and did not say anything else. He immediately left on his sword, disappearing into the horizon in an instant. In the eyes of the crowd, it was as if the Heavenly Dome and Tsing Hui had nothing to do with each other. It was as if the Heavenly Master, Sword Master Bai Heng, and Sword Saint Lan Rui had really come to demand an explanation for the divine ghost sect's invasion of the Heavenly Dome resource points in the past year. However, it was unknown just how many people would believe this scene. The Heavenly Master and the other two divine ghost sect's God Kings fought fiercely for a while longer. Seeing that the life and death will formation was about to be activated, they immediately retreated and left behind ruthless words, Constellation God King, Violence God King, Battle God King, I'll give your divine ghost sect 10 days to withdraw from our Heavenly Dome resource points. Otherwise, things will not be as simple as today. After saying this, he completely ignored the murderous gazes of the Constellation God King, Violence God King, and Battle God King. He directly waved his hand at Sword Saint Lan Rui and Sword Master Bai Heng, let's go. Chapter 6:16 Sky Dome Station. Tsing Hui, who had returned to the Sky Dome Station early, was immediately greeted by Master Tsongzhen and Master Yuanri. Not long after, Master Tsongzhen, Sword Master Bai Heng, and Sword Saint Lan Rui also quickly arrived. Pak Hui, how was it? Did you get the innate divine charm? Master Tsongzhen couldn't wait to ask as soon as he landed. I directly captured Wang Qiqing. I'll have to trouble you to ask someone who is good at torture to interrogate him. As Tsing Hui spoke, he waved his hand, and the unconscious Wang Qiqing was transferred out of the space. Captured alive, Master Zhangzhen looked at Wang Qiqing in front of him, his eyes full of surprise. Wang Qiqing is a pinnacle lawful embodiment of heaven and earth expert, and his understanding of force has long been perfected. In such a short time, you were able to capture him alive? I was just lucky. Xing Hui said. This time, you've made a great contribution. Wang Qiqing has fallen into our hands. Not only can we force out the innate divine charm from him, but we can also exchange him for a lot of precious resources from the divine ghost sect. These should be your spoils of war. When the time comes, we'll give them to you one by one. Xing Hui pondered for a moment, then said, no need. Just take it as my contribution to Sky Dome Station. After all, I've been taken care of by all of you along the way. How can that be? What's yours is yours. Moreover, how can the things we give you compare to the value of a pinnacle lawful embodiment of heaven and earth expert? Wang Qiqing and his chaos technique alone are worth hundreds of Taoist rhymes. Alright, leave this matter to me. I don't believe that the divine ghost sect would be willing to give up a pinnacle lawful embodiment of heaven and earth expert who's half a step into the divine realm. This time, we must make them pay a heavy price. Master Zhangzhen said fiercely. He had a deep grudge against the divine ghost sect for taking advantage of the situation. Zhangzhen will be in charge of this matter. Master Firmament nodded in agreement. Thank you, Master Zhangzhen. Xing Hui was indeed lacking in Dao runes. Seeing that exalted Master Zhangzhen had said so, he did not insist. Alright, there's no time to lose. I'll interrogate Wang Qiqing and force him to reveal his innate charm. At the mention of these innate divine charms, Venerable Master Firmament's gaze landed on the Mist Roy Sword Saint. The matter of you condensing your domain origin and breaking through to the divine realm will have to be delayed again. Right now, the most important thing for Venerable Zhu Zhao is to recover as soon as possible. I hope you can understand. The Mist Roy Sword Saint nodded, and there was no dissatisfaction on his face. Regarding the matter of Lan Roy's innate charm, our White Rainbow Sword sect will also think of a way. Bai Heng said. Immediately, Venerable Master Zhangzhen hurriedly left with Wang Qiqing and Venerable Master Yuanri. Venerable Master Zhangzhen also pondered on how to blackmail the divine ghost sect, and handed the task of receiving Sword Master Bai Heng to Xing Hui. As for the Lan Roy Sword Saint, he was rather introverted and was not good with words. Even in front of Sword Master Bai Heng, he was no exception. After the matter was over, he went to cultivate in seclusion. This time, I'll have to trouble you to make a trip again. It's nothing. Now that our two sects have formed an alliance, we should advance and retreat together. If Venerable Zhu Zhao can recover, the pressure we face will be much less. After all, Venerable Zhu Zhao is one of the top 10 supreme experts. His deterrence is much stronger than ordinary divine realm experts like us. If Venerable Zhu Zhao is here, forces like the divine ghost sect will not dare to have any ideas about Venerable Master Firmament. If Venerable Zhu Zhao is truly angered, he can attack the divine ghost sect's mountain gate alone and break the Samsara Will formation guarded by 3 divine realm experts. Sword Master Bai Heng smiled and stroked his beautiful hair. Xing Hui's expression changed slightly. I've seen the Samsara Will formation before. It's a powerful formation through and through. If there are 3 divine realm experts guarding it, I'm afraid that even if there are twice as many divine realm experts attacking it, they won't be able to do anything. Venerable Zhu Zhao alone has the power to break the divine ghost sect Samsara Will formation. Xing Hui, although you now have the battle strength of a divine realm expert, you still don't understand the division between strong and weak divine realm experts, right? Xing Hui nodded. In fact, if we want to divide the strength of divine realm experts, we can mainly divide them into 4 categories. The first category is like True God of Suffering, Constellation Divine King, Ruthless Divine King, and ordinary divine realm experts like Sword Master Changhong of our White Rainbow Sword sect. You should already have an understanding of their strength. Xing Hui nodded. The second category refers to those divine realm experts who have powerful divine weapons. The so-called powerful divine weapons usually refer to existences above the 16th level. Venerable Master Firmament of Firmament, Emperor Yaoyang of Eternity, and Venerable Master Kongming of All Saints all belong to this category. A divine realm expert of this level has no problem suppressing a divine realm expert of the first level. Sometimes, one divine realm expert can barely be used as two ordinary divine realm experts. It seems that Sword Master Bai Heng belongs to the third category. Xing Hui smiled. In fact, I was able to be in this category mainly because of my age. What about now? Sword Master Bai Heng smiled. I can't always stay where I am, can I? I have never really seen Sword Master Bai Heng use your full strength. Why don't you, let me see it? Oh, you want to see my full strength? Sword Master Bai Heng looked curiously at Xing Hui. The third category of divine realm experts may be a little weaker than the strongest experts in the divine realm, but against ordinary divine realm experts, they can barely fight 1 against 3. If they encounter opponents who are more restrained, they can fight 1 against 4, or even hold back 5. You mainly cultivate the bloodline of the Golden Crow, and fire attribute cultivation methods are less harmful to me. That is to say, you are one of the practitioners who are restrained by me. Do you really want to try? Of course. Xing Hui nodded slightly. Although I mainly cultivate the bloodline of the Golden Crow, I have now walked out of the shackles of the bloodline of the Golden Crow. I personally feel that in terms of combat power, I should not be as simple as an ordinary divine realm expert. As for what level I have reached, I am not very clear. If not for the fact that the esteemed Zhu Zhao is severely injured and unconscious, I would even ask the esteemed Zhu Zhao to give me some pointers. The Master of Sword Bai Heng smiled and said, "You're very confident. You have to know that the 10 most powerful cultivators are divided into strong and weak ones. The Master of Zhu Zhao is ranked 4th among the 10 most powerful cultivators, so you can't look at him normally. If it was only the Holy Lord of the Bottomless Abyss who is ranked 10th among the 10 most powerful cultivators, or the Jade Emperor Holy Man who is ranked 9th among the 10 most powerful cultivators, I might be able to fight them with my current abilities. They might be able to defeat me, but it would be a Pyrrhic victory. However, the Master of Zhu Zhao is so powerful that he has surpassed the limits of the divine state. Not only does he possess the most powerful Abhijna, he also possesses the most powerful divine items, and he even possesses the Chaos level. At this point, she added, "Do you know that before Chaos Holy Man, Emperor Tai Yi, and Supreme God Gu Huang broke through to the Void Transformation stage, Master Zhu Zhao was once known as the top expert in the Divine Wilderness? The number 1 expert in the Divine Wilderness?" Xing Hui was stunned. The esteemed Zhu Zhao was so famous in the past. That's right, he's the number 1 expert of the Divine Wilderness. His most astonishing achievement is that he once single-handedly killed his way into the 6 sacred sects. At that time, although the 6 sacred sects were not at their peak, they usually had 6 saints, but they also had 5 saint realm experts. 5 saints and the protective mountain array were nearly destroyed by esteemed Zhu Zhao alone. In the end, the 6 sacred sects were defeated by esteemed Zhu Zhao alone. Some people even began to worship esteemed Zhu Zhao. The most famous one is one of the core members of your celestial dome, esteemed 3 Wonders. He defeated an entire sect. Qing Su could not help but take a deep breath when he heard that. Don't you think that the heavenly axiom does not deliberately target other chaotic organizations, but only the celestial dome sect? Is it really because the Celestial Dome sect has fewer members and is easier to deal with? Wrong. The main reason is that the esteemed Zhu Zhao is too big of a threat. Even if the Divine Wilderness ordered the Divine Ghost sect to loot a burning house not long ago, they are probably still wary of the esteemed Zhu Zhao. Xing Hui could not help but widen his eyes when he heard this. He would never have thought that the esteemed Zhu Zhao, who did not look like much, would have such an astonishing reputation in his heyday. Not long ago, you should also know that the heavenly axiom besieged Zhuzhou. The 5 Dao masters, Wu Li, Li Hen, Qing Wei, Tai Huang, and Wu Sei, are enough to fight against a supreme expert, especially the Wu Li holy man. In terms of divine weapons, chaos level, and other aspects, he is actually considered a third type of divine sage. It is only because he is not good at fighting that he fell to the second type. But with such a lineup, he still had to set up a trap before he dared to come out and besiege Zhuzhou. From this point, you can see how tyrannical the esteemed Zhuzhou is. If it is said that to besiege and kill us third-type divine sages requires 4 or 5 divine sages, and to besiege and kill the divine lord of the ruins of the end and the Jade Emperor Dao Master requires 6 or 7 divine sages. Then, to besiege and kill Zhuzhou, without the battle strength equivalent to 10 divine sages, it is impossible to even think about it. Xing Hui nodded. The Wu Li holy man was not good at fighting, but he was best at formations. He was the best formation master in the entire divine wilderness. The protective mountain formation of an ordinary sect could allow 3 divine sages to kill 6 divine sages, and its power would be doubled. It was similar to the protective mountain formation of the Heavenly Way, the divine wilderness, and the Eternity sect. Its power was even greater, and the trap that he set up would naturally be filled with killing formations. Even if the materials were limited, it would not be a problem for him, the Lihan holy man, the Qingwei holy man, the Tai Emperor holy man, and the Wu Sei holy man to double the power of the 5 divine sages. Furthermore, it was a sneak attack. As he thought of this, Xing Hui understood why the Zhuzhou exalted cultivator failed miserably. At the same time, he also understood why the Zhuzhou exalted cultivator fell into his trap so easily. He was too confident in his own power. The Zhuzhou exalted cultivator needs some time to recover completely. If I can comprehend the sword stance during this period of time, I might be able to compete with the Zhuzhou exalted cultivator again. But now, Xing Hui's gaze landed on Bai Heng again. I would still like to ask Bai Heng to enlighten me. Alright, I'm also very curious about your limits. I'm also very curious about the power of the Supreme Abhijna. I'm afraid the Heaven Dome sect's training ground may not be able to withstand the 2 of us. How about we find a barren mountain and have another battle? There's a vast ancient forest 8,000 kilometers from here. It's quite suitable. Bai Heng was obviously more familiar with the Heaven Dome sect's training ground than Xing Hui. Then let's go. Chapter 6:17. A day later, Xing Hui and Sword Master Bai Heng reappeared outside the Sky Dome encampment. However, both of them seemed to be in a sorry state. Xing Hui's face still had a sword wound that had not completely healed, while Sword Master Bai Heng no longer had his elegant image. His hair was in a mess. Both of them seemed to have changed into a new set of clothes, but for some unknown reason, they looked slightly wrinkled. This was definitely inconsistent with their status. Ever since I stepped into the transcendent realm, the word monster has accompanied me. However, I now realize that you are the true monster. Sword Master Bai Heng looked at Xing Hui in front of him and recalled the battle not long ago. He smiled and said, "From today onwards, I can finally take the title of the strongest person of the younger generation in the divine wilderness with a clear conscience. You should keep the title of the strongest person of the younger generation. I can't bear it. You are completely qualified. You have to know that when I was your age, I wasn't even at the true energy realm. Age doesn't mean anything. No, age can mean many things. Just like the current top 10 strongest people. If they were not 1,000 years older than us, how could the title of strongest be held by them?" Xing Hui looked at Sword Master Bai Heng and thought of the strength that Sword Master Bai Heng had displayed. He nodded seriously and asked again, "You really haven't reached the level of the top 10 strongest people? Can the ranking of the top 10 strongest people be fake?" Sword Master Bai Heng asked with a faint smile. About this, Xing Hui shook his head. However, he quickly thought of something and asked, "How long has it been since you used your full strength?" "Today is the day." After Sword Master Bai Heng finished speaking, he looked at Xing Hui with some regret. "It's a pity. I finally felt that my cultivation was not bad, but the first time I used my full strength, I couldn't even defeat you. That's because you went easy on me, or, you were cooperating with me, otherwise, the outcome of the battle would have been different. A loss is a loss. I didn't calculate the existence of the backtrack technique. I was arrogant and wanted to attack you head-on. I wanted to forcefully defeat you and reap what I sowed." When Sword Master Bai Heng said this, his expression turned solemn. "This battle has taught me a lesson. Never underestimate any opponent." Xing Hui shook his head. In reality, he knew that he was the one who had truly lost that battle. Sword Master Bai Heng had been attacking him the entire time, but in the end, he was still forced to use the backtrack technique to gain the upper hand and obtain victory. From this point alone, it was enough to prove that once a third-type divine being was serious, his strength was still not enough. Even if he had the backtrack technique, when facing a third-type divine being who was fully focused, it was still inevitable that he would be defeated. The only thing that made him suspicious was Sword Master Bai Heng really only considered a normal third-type saint? "Pak Hui, you're here." When Xing Hui and Sword Master Bai Heng returned, Venerable Master Zhang immediately came over and said with a face full of joy, "This is good news. The Divine Ghost sect has already lowered their heads and is willing to redeem Wang Qiqing for 800 Taoist rhymes. What do you think, 800 Taoist rhymes?" When Xing Hui heard this, he was quite satisfied with the price and nodded slightly. "All right. The main thing is that it's really not appropriate for us to fall out with the Divine Ghost sect, or the Divine Wilderness behind them. Otherwise, it's not impossible to extort a higher price. After all, this is a peak lawful embodiment of heaven and earth expert. Did you force out the innate Taoist rhymes from him?" "Of course. Wang Qiqing is an old hand and knows that after falling into our hands, the Divine Ghost sect's power will not be able to save him. Thus, he was very straightforward and did not spend too much effort to force out the innate Taoist rhymes. There are quite a few of them, and I think not only can it stabilize Zhu Zhao's injuries, it can also help him recover. If we're lucky, it might even wake him up." Master Zhang said with a smile. "That's for the best." When Xing Hui said this, he was somewhat curious. "What exactly is the innate Taoist rhymes?" "The innate Taoist rhymes are not something. It's a type of Taoist rhymes, a type of Taoist rhymes. It's a strange existence that can only be felt with one's mind and true yuan. As for what it is exactly, I can't say. You'll know when you see it." As Master Zhang said this, he led Xing Hui inside. Inside the Sky Dome encampment, Master Zhang, Master Yuanri, and the two Golden Core elders were busy with something. When they saw Xing Hui arrive, they just nodded at him. "This is the innate Taoist rhymes, the innate Taoist rhymes that come from the divine beast Hunyuan," Master Zhang said to a piece of something that looked like a divine beast's fur that they were busy with. Xing Hui looked at the piece of fur that was about 4 meters in diameter. He immediately felt that this piece of fur was extraordinary. Its extraordinariness did not come from its external appearance, but a kind of special existence. As Xing Hui separated a part of his mind to carefully sense it, he immediately realized that this piece of fur seemed to have a faint connection with the special rules of heaven and earth, causing the barrier between the two to disappear. This is the innate Taoist rhymes. The divine beast is the most unique life in heaven and earth. According to ancient legends, the divine beast is actually the manifestation of the rules of heaven and earth. Each divine beast represents a rule. Although this saying is just a rumor, it is actually quite reasonable. The innate Taoist rhymes are actually a characteristic or proof that the divine beast has been recognized by the rules of heaven and earth. Because of its divinity, when a cultivator can obtain the innate Taoist rhymes and refine them into his body, he will only have a trace of the real divine beast's characteristics. Thus, he can be supported by the rules of heaven and earth. This kind of support spills out of his body and forms the power of a domain. Master Tsongjin paused. Many of the domains you have encountered so far are formed by the innate Taoist rhymes of the Kunpeng and Chaos. First, the four divine beasts of the Kunpeng, Chaos, Golden Crow, and Kailan are the most common in our world. Second, the danger of hunting the Kunpeng and Chaos is the lowest. The danger of hunting the Kunpeng and Chaos is the lowest. Xing Hui was a little surprised. It may be safe to hunt Chaos, but the Kunpeng is just difficult to hunt. In fact, as long as a perfect cage is set up, the counterattack of the Kunpeng before its death is very difficult to cause fatal damage to a fully prepared divine realm giant. On the other hand, if a golden crow is forced to the end of its life and explodes all the power in its body, one careless mistake will lead to a complete annihilation. Therefore, the golden crow is the easiest to hunt, but the price is the highest. The Kunpeng is the most difficult to hunt, but it is safer. In this case, the foundation of the domain formed by the innate Taoist rhymes of the Kunpeng and Chaos has become the mainstream of the cultivation world. No one hunts Kailan. The innate Taoist rhymes of the Kailan. So far, no one has mastered the ability to transform it into the domain origin. That is to say, the innate Taoist rhymes of some divine beasts are not enough for people to condense the domain origin. Zanjin esteemed being nodded. His eyes fell on the piece of fur processed by Celestial Being and the others, and he said, that piece of fur is the essence of the chaos. It is because of the innate charm contained in that piece of fur that the divine beast Chaos can erupt with the supreme power of a divine beast. It can turn itself into a piece of chaotic void and intervene between reality and illusion, so that it can be immune to the attacks of the magnates of the divine realm. Without that charm, it is equivalent to being the favored child of the law of chaos. It has been beaten down into an ordinary beast, and from then on, it has become ordinary. Xing Hui also understood the importance of the innate Taoist rhymes of the divine beasts. It was no wonder that only by killing a divine beast could one obtain its innate Taoist rhymes. When any divine beast uses its talent, it will borrow the power of the innate Taoist rhymes. Therefore, you can judge whether it is the innate Taoist rhymes or not, or how much innate Taoist rhymes it contains. Just like the chaos in front of us, it obviously has only a small part of the innate Taoist rhymes. It is said that the top divine beasts, when breaking the shackles of life, need to refine the innate Taoist rhymes to every corner of their bodies, so that they can really become the master of the law and the manifestation of the law of heaven and earth. However, I have never seen such a level of existence in my life, so I don't know whether this is true or not. You will have a chance to see it in the future. Xing Hui said. Master Tsongjin nodded. After a while, he seemed to think of something and threw a token directly to Xing Hui's hand, saying, I heard that you have been collecting this thing recently. Here you are. This is, the token of the world of battle. Xing Hui looked at the token of the world of battle that Master Tsongjin threw to him and couldn't help but be slightly stunned. The next moment, he hurriedly said, a token of the world of battle is worth more than 100 Taoist rhymes. Before Xing Hui finished his words, Master Tsongjin impatiently interrupted him, saying, since I gave it to you, you should take it. You have a promising future. If you don't die, you will definitely be ranked among the top experts in the future. One day, you even have the hope to go overseas and kill divine beasts by yourself. If that day really comes, you should leave me more innate Taoist rhymes as a reward. Xing Hui listened and nodded slightly, saying, when I have the ability to kill divine beasts, I will definitely get enough innate Taoist rhymes for you to step into the divine realm. Then I will wait for that day to come. Master Tsongjin said and waved his hand, saying, well, you have worked hard this time as well. Take a rest and study your superpowers. Try to reach the level where you can resonate with the Dharma as soon as possible. When you reach that step, come find me or Tsang Qiong. At that time, maybe we can give you a hand and directly help you to break through to the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth." Tsing Hui listened and nodded seriously. After leaving the courtyard, Tsing Hui returned to his residence. On the way, he deliberately split his attention and went to the Hunyuan Chamber of Commerce in the Chaos Temple. He told Su Tong, Blazing Glory, and the others not to wait for the next wave of goods and directly sold the treasures from the Black Flame sect. The next day, Sword Master Bai Heng came to bid farewell to Tsing Hui and invited Tsing Hui to live in the White Rainbow Sword sect. However, considering that there were no experts in Tsang Qiong at the moment and that he had just offended the Ghost God sect, he did not go and stayed in Tsang Qiong for safety reasons. Sword Master Bai Heng did not insist. After Sword Master Bai Heng left, Tsing Hui, who rarely had time to relax, could not help but look at the token of the realm of battle in his hand. If I want to improve my strength, I can only work on my physique, Sword of the Sun, and Sword Force. Among these three, the fastest way to improve my physique is to refine my physique. The only problem with refining my physique is the cultivation method after the real Dragon 9 transformations. Tossing the token of the realm of battle in his hand, Tsing Hui could not help but feel a little tempted. Why don't I try my luck? Chapter 618. With a plan in mind, Tsing Hui naturally did not wait any longer. In the War of Chaos, even a Stage 1 Son of Chaos on one side would be unharmed. With Tsing Hui's current status, as soon as he gave the order, a Stage 1 Son of Chaos in the Green Netherworld realm was soon found in front of him. The Son of Chaos was willing to engage in the War of Chaos with him, and the price was just some resources to help him cultivate to the real element realm. I hope my luck is not too bad. Tsing Hui muttered to himself. Then, he and the Green Netherworld realm cultivator, who was somewhat trembling in fear, each went to a different room and started the War of Chaos. When the War of Chaos started, in order to race against time, Tsing Hui did not make any preparations. He was directly pulled by the power of the order of the world of battle, as if tearing the void, and projected onto the battlefield of the War of Chaos, a star, a desolate and dead star. No, it was not desolate and dead. At least, the terrible monsters in front of him, which were obviously no less powerful than Stage 4 or 5 dire beasts, were enough to tell the world that there were still signs of life on this star. It seems that the environment of this star is very harsh. Tsing Hui took a little breath and immediately felt many harmful elements contained in the air. At this time, the terrible monsters in front of him, which were equivalent to Stage 4 or Stage 5 dire beasts, also noticed Tsing Hui's aura and quickly rushed toward Tsing Hui. However, before they could get close to Tsing Hui's blazing majestic sword essence had burned their consciousness and they died on the spot. Presently, the level of his spiritual force couldn't be compared to before. When his sword intent was at perfection and his spiritual force was at the 132nd level, there were very few people below the Golden Core realm who could withstand a single slash of his sword intent. Even those Golden Core realm experts with weak wills might have their souls annihilated by a single slash of his sword, let alone ferocious beasts and monsters with low intelligence. Let me see where there are enough humans to live. After Tsing Hui swept away the threat of the monsters around him, he immediately activated the Wandering Spirit Control technique. His primordial spirit left his body and flew out quickly. However, not long after his primordial spirit flew out, he sensed that the sky was filled with a large amount of strange force fields and magnetic fields, which caused great damage to his primordial spirit. If it weren't for the fact that his spiritual power had reached level 132, his primordial spirit would have been weakened by the interference of these forces, and might even have collapsed. Such a star, Tsing Hui frowned. His primordial spirit continued to climb. After climbing less than 100,000 meters, the arc at the end of the horizon made him slightly stunned. Not a continent, but a planet. This discovery made Tsing Hui fly even faster. Not long after, he had already rushed out of the troposphere of this star and directly arrived in the stratosphere. In the stratosphere, the magnetic field that was harmful to the primordial spirit had been greatly weakened, but it still existed. Xinghui activated the aura observation technique and could clearly see dozens of gathering points with a large amount of life aura. However, apart from these gathering points, what surprised Xinghui was that the outer space of this star was not empty at all. There were more than 10 space stations, each of which was hundreds of times larger than the space stations he had seen on Earth. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was a small city. In these space stations, spaceships of different sizes traveled back and forth between space and the planet. From time to time, one could see large mechas that were similar to the Crimson Sun Demon God but were several times larger than the Crimson Sun Demon God. In addition to these mecha and spaceships, not far from the periphery of the star, there was a huge arched door with a diameter of 300,000 meters. In the arched door, he faintly felt a deep and gloomy aura. Even when he looked at it in his primordial spirit form, he still felt a sense of fear. It's a technological star. It seems that the so-called technological star is the alchemy world that Jin Lian talked about. Xinghui looked at the spaceships and mecha that came and went with a trace of disappointment on his face. Perhaps Jin Lian would be extremely excited if he came to such a star, but to Xinghui, who needed the next few transformations of the true dragon's 9 transformations, it was like a chicken rib. It was tasteless, but it would be a pity to throw it away. Since I'm already here, I'll go and take a look at the gathering points of life. The life waves on these life forms are not strong, but this special magnetic field that covers more than half of the star is very interesting. Xinghui withdrew his primordial spirit, stood up, and quickly went forward. Due to the limited strength of the projected body in this world, his running speed was not fast. In addition, he was wary of the strength of this world's science and technology, so he did not use sword kinesis flight. He maintained his running method and headed toward a human city less than 200 kilometers away. After traveling less than 10 kilometers, some subtle movements attracted Xinghui's attention. As Xinghui raised his head and looked, he immediately saw 6 mecha-like existences moving quickly in the wilderness, attacking the group of beasts that were around the 4th or 5th rank. Although these mecha could not be compared to the Scarlet Sun Demon God, their battle strength was extremely shocking. Xinghui estimated that the destructive power of each mecha was not below that of a prominent divine expert's battle body. If the drawback of a prominent divine expert's insufficient chi was taken into account, a mecha could be compared to a true energy realm cultivator. It seems that this world is not weak. Xinghui's expression was slightly grave. After the 6 mecha killed the beasts that were equivalent to the 4th or 5th rank, they did not leave. Instead, they quickly surrounded Xinghui. When Qing Su saw this, he could not help but be slightly stunned. He sensed his body and discovered that he had indeed used shadowless attention earlier. Even though his strength had been severely suppressed, logically speaking, no one should have noticed him, so why, forget it, if I can't hide, then I can't hide. Xinghui stood up and looked directly at the mecha. Unregistered. There is no record of this person in the database. Walking alone in the middle of nowhere without a mecha. Isn't he afraid of being torn to pieces by these mutant beasts? Captain Purple Dragon, be careful. Those who can walk in the wilderness without the help of mecha are definitely not weak. The person in front of us may be a spirit master. Spirit master. That is the most honorable existence in our entire Xiaya Empire. How could he appear on Obsidian Star with such a harsh environment? But Yun, you are right. It's not wrong to be careful. The mecha called Captain Purple Dragon communicated with his teammates, stepped forward, and said with a somewhat guarded tone, Your Excellency, may I ask where you are from and why are you outside Obsidian Star City? Also, there is no information about you in the database. Can Your Excellency explain? Xinghui looked at Purple Dragon in front of him. To his surprise, he could understand Purple Dragon's language. It was the same in the world that focused on body tempering, and it was the same in this technological world. This made him a little interested. It just so happens that I need someone to help me understand this world. So, let's start with you guys. Tsing Hui's gaze swept across the 6 people. The bodies of these 6 people were very fragile and belonged to the mortal level. Even the strongest one was only at the awakening stage. It was not worth mentioning at all. As the sword intent in his spiritual world erupted, a powerful sword intent burst out, carrying a blazing power, and blasted into the spiritual world of the 6 mecha pilots. Ah, a spirit master, no, not good. Damn it, as Tsing Hui released his sword intent, the 6 mecha pilots shouted at the same time. 2 of them fainted on the spot, and the other 2 only lasted for a second. However, Captain Purple Dragon and the female mecha pilot named Yunyuan surprised Tsing Hui. They actually blocked Tsing Hui's sword intent bombardment. This spiritual strength is not weaker than that of a true energy stage powerhouse. Tsing Hui was a little surprised. Although the 2 of them survived his sword intent bombardment, as his sword intent grew stronger, the 2 of them followed in the footsteps of the others and fainted. A spiritual strength of more than 70 levels. Also, he seemed to have used some special technique when blocking my sword intent. Tsing Hui was a little surprised. The strongest physical strength was only equivalent to the awakening stage, but the spiritual strength was comparable to the true energy stage. The difference of a whole realm? Could it be that the people in this world have a lot of experience in spiritual cultivation? With a hint of curiosity, Tsing Hui quickly came in front of the mechas. However, he clearly did not know how to open these mechas. After studying it for a while, he directly drew out the sky splitter and slashed down. He forcefully split these mechas that were about 8 meters tall apart and captured all the pilots inside. After that, he quickly headed towards a cave not far away from his spiritual senses. Ching Su had captured the 6 mecha pilots alive, but what he did not know was that after he had split open the cockpits of the 6 mecha and destroyed them, a message had been sent to Yaoyan City, which was less than 200 kilometers away, through the network. Very soon, a military base outside Yaoyan City began to sound the alarm. Mecha after mecha rose into the air rapidly, flying towards the location of the incident. In terms of numbers, there were actually 44 of them. 3 of them were much more powerful than the mecha Zilong, Yunyuan, and the others were whether it was in terms of technology or presence. Tsing Hui led the 6 mecha pilots and quickly came to a hiding place that looked like a cave less than 30 kilometers away from the battlefield. He then threw the 6 people down. After throwing the 6 people down, Tsing Hui took the lead to wake up the captain, Zilong, who woke up, immediately noticed that he was pulled out of the mecha. Thinking of the vast and terrifying spiritual strength displayed by the person in front of him when he attacked him just now, Zilong's forehead broke out in a cold sweat. He forced himself to say, "I'm Zilong, the captain of the 2nd Squad of the 4th Squadron of the Xia Empire's Obsidian Star Base. Greetings, Master. I didn't know that you were here, so I've offended you. Please forgive me. Master." Tsing Hui looked at Zilong in front of him and said calmly, "I only remember that an aircraft I was on malfunctioned and crashed. I can't remember anything else. Maybe there's some misunderstanding between us, but now, I urgently need to recover my lost memories. Therefore, I need you to introduce me to all the common sense and basic things so that I can recover quickly. Do you understand?" Chapter 619. The aircraft we're on is malfunctioning. The captain of the mecha team, Liao Zilong, was slightly taken aback. He didn't remember any aircraft crashing in this part of space recently. However, considering that the aircraft of a spiritual power master must have an excellent anti-radar system, it was reasonable that their base's radar couldn't detect this master's aircraft. Thus, Liao Zilong hurriedly said, "Master, you've lost your memory. Do you want to regain your memory? Why don't we ask Master to follow us back to the base? Our base has extremely advanced technology and equipment. One of them is the Nest of Life healing pod that the Empire's Research Institute has just released to the market. It can definitely. Before Liao Zilong could finish his sentence, a sword intent shot out from Tsing Hui's eyes. A blazing intent suddenly exploded, causing Liao Zilong's soul to feel as though it was being burned by fire. He screamed in pain. Did I not make myself clear enough? I don't believe in healing pods. I only need you to use common sense and basic knowledge to stimulate my mind and see if you can help me regain my lost memory. If you can't answer me, then I'll ask the others. I believe that some of them will be able to answer my question. Master, please don't be angry, please don't be angry. Liao Zilong's forehead was covered in sweat from the pain. At the same time, he kept begging for mercy. After Tsing Hui retracted his sword intent, he panted and looked at Tsing Hui with a trace of fear in his eyes. I'll tell Master now, the part of the universe we're in is called the Cliff Universe. It's 396 light-years in total, are you joking with me? A universe is only 396 light-years. Do you think that I'm easy to fool because I lost my memory and don't know anything about experimentation? Or do you really want to die? Tsing Hui said coldly. I'm innocent, Master, I'm innocent. What I said is absolutely true. There are detailed records in the Empire's history. If you don't believe me, please let me open my gadget and show you the information. Our universe is really only 396 light-years. Liao Zilong suddenly said, Master, I'm wrong. Liao Zilong suddenly thought of something and said, I know why you misunderstood. What you saw is ancient history, and ancient history is different from real history. According to ancient history, the universe was indeed endless tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years ago. However, there seemed to be a huge cosmic disaster, and the entire universe was torn apart and destroyed. Only our universe, which is 396 light-years old, survived and floated in the vast universe. Until now, at the end of the universe, there is an unknown crack that stretches as far as the eye can see. Moreover, this crack is constantly devouring our universe. Moreover, it devours about 1/10 of a light-year's border every year. Because this devouring is coming from all directions and the speed is gradually increasing, countless scholars have predicted that one day in the future, our entire universe will completely turn into dust and disappear into that destructive crack. Tens of thousands of years ago, or hundreds of thousands of years ago, the universe was torn apart by a large-scale disaster. Tsing Hui couldn't help but feel shocked when he heard this. A universe was torn apart and only a fragment of 396 light-years was left. What kind of apocalyptic catastrophe was this? Master, if you don't believe me, you can look up. Obsidian Star is less than 22 light-years away from the crack at the end of the universe. The darkness that is so deep that you can't see it clearly is the crack at the end of the universe. If Master still doesn't believe me, you can use the Stargate of Obsidian Star to perform a space jump and go to the edge of the universe. However, the edge of the universe is too dangerous. If Master really wants to go there, you have to at least take the best warship. Tsing Hui raised his head. He didn't pay much attention to it before, but now, he did feel that the starry sky above his head was quite abnormal. The stars only covered a small area, and further away was a deep darkness without any color. It was like a failed background wall, strange and terrifying. This universe, Qing Su sucked in a deep breath, but he did his best to maintain his composure. Go on. The Xia Empire's territory, population, stars, and the branches of the organizations in this universe. It's all common sense. Just tell me what you know. Yes, yes, yes. Liao Zilong hurriedly nodded. These common sense things didn't violate military rules and wouldn't anger the mysterious master in front of him, so he naturally wouldn't hold back. Our universe originally belonged to a powerful top empire, but the entire universe was split from that top empire. That empire's rule over our universe naturally disappeared. Over time, there was a great war in the universe, but because of the crisis that humanity was facing, everyone united and formed the current Xia Empire. The obsidian star we're on now is one of the many administrative planets of the Xia Empire, but because it's close to the crack, the economy and prosperity of Obsidian Star have been declining year by year. The rich and powerful have all migrated to the capital, and the remaining are basically ordinary people. This world is really vast. Lin Yun muttered to himself. Xing Hui had to admit that even though he had a God realm cultivation base, he still wasn't enough in front of the colossus that was the Xia Empire. A huge empire that could rule over a few hundred light years, just thinking about it was terrifying. Master, in fact, you don't have to be so vigilant. Every mental strength master is the most precious treasure of the Xia Empire. They are entrusted with the hope of leading the Xia Empire out of a hopeless situation. Therefore, the empire has strict laws. Murdering a mental strength master is a serious crime. Therefore, if you are willing to return to the base with us, we will not only think of ways to heal your injuries and help you recover your memories, but we will also investigate the politicians who caused your spaceship to crash. Liao Zilong said carefully. Entrusted with the hope of leading the Xia Empire out of a hopeless situation. What hope? Xing Hui asked. After all, the universe where our Xia Empire is located was split from a powerful empire. According to the historical records before the split, there are still one or even several extraordinary realms above the legendary realm. We call them the mythical realm. Once you step into that realm, the great mythical realm can tear apart the layers of cracks at the end of the universe and lead our Xia Empire back to the great universe to avoid the fate of waiting for death day after day. Wait a minute, what legendary realm? What mythical realm? Liao Zilong looked at Qing Su and was startled. However, thinking that this master seemed to have lost his memory, he said, our Xia Empire divides spiritual ability practitioners into 12 levels. The first 9 levels are all spiritual ability users. Of course, since spiritual ability users are only one step away from spiritual ability masters, spiritual ability users are often called quasi-masters at the 9th level. After quasi-masters are spiritual ability users. Above that are spiritual ability users, and above that are spiritual ability users. Above that are spiritual ability users, and above that are spiritual ability users. Master, Saint, Legendary, Xing Hui listened to these levels. He didn't know if they corresponded to levels 1 to 12 for practitioners. As for the specifics, he estimated that he would only know if he really met those master-level people. Master, you should understand that our Xia Empire's universe is currently facing a doomsday-like fate. Although doomsday is still far away from us, and it may take hundreds or thousands of years for it to truly descend, but for the continuation of the empire has no choice but to think of ways to cultivate those mythical existences as soon as possible. With the help of the mythical existence's strength that can shatter the void, they can lead us out of this hopeless situation. Currently, although the empire is trying its best to protect the life and safety of the spirit masters and create a training environment for them, there are still only 3 legends in our Xia Empire, and the number of masters is not more than 10,000 people. Therefore, every master will receive the strictest protection in our Xia Empire. The safety of the masters cannot be persecuted in any way. Crush the void with their mental strength. Xing Hui's heart trembled. What kind of realm was that? Even if the vacuum crushing of this world was compared to the vacuum crushing of his world, it was enough to infer that the legends in this world were probably at the void realm and the saints were at the domain realm. As for him, his mental strength was comparable to the domain realm, but because he hadn't condensed a domain yet, he was regarded as a mental strength master. Rumble. Just as Xing Hui was learning bits and pieces of this world from Liao Zilong, a roar quickly came from all directions. Following Xing Hui's mental senses, he immediately sensed dozens of mechas quickly surrounded him. Not long after, a shout came from inside. Madman inside, listen up. Surrender immediately and come out, and we can still give you a way out. Otherwise, under the bombardment of the cannons, no matter who you are, only death awaits you." Liao Zilong's expression changed drastically when he heard the shouts outside. Even though mental strength masters were powerful and could wipe out all living beings within a radius of 10 kilometers or even dozens of kilometers, their physical bodies were extremely weak. Once the base bombarded this area, not to mention mental strength masters, even saint-level existences would only have a path of death. Thinking of the serious crime of killing a mental strength master, he hurriedly shouted, "Don't attack, don't attack." After saying that, he hurriedly turned to Tsinghui and begged, "Master, please let me out. I'll go talk to these people. As long as I tell them that you're a mental strength master, they definitely won't dare to disrespect you." Tsinghui frowned and looked at Liao Zilong in front of him. "How did they find me?" "This. Every one of our mecha knights has a tracker." Hearing this, Tsinghui instantly understood that he had miscalculated. The various methods in the world of science and technology were not something he could imagine. However, considering the lofty status of a mental strength master in this world, he hesitated for a moment before saying, "All right then. Go out now. Don't play any tricks. Otherwise, you should know that it's only a matter of thought for me to catch all of you in one fell swoop. Please don't worry, master. Even if you give me 10,000 guts, I wouldn't dare to offend a master." Chapter 620. Liao Zilong's communication went very smoothly. Mental strength masters indeed had an unimaginably high status in this world. In addition to their powerful strength, the most important thing was that they shouldered the mission of saving the Xiaya Empire. As Tsing Hui's identity as a spirit master was exposed, all the knights of the 44 mechas stood out and respectfully greeted him outside. The three people in the lead stepped forward and saluted when they saw Tsing Hui. Yao Yen City Base's Deputy Commander Tang Xing, Mecha Brigade's Captain Lu Fei, and Deputy Captain Gu Pan greet Master. "We were incompetent and frightened, Master." Tsing Hui stepped forward and looked at the people in front of him. The vitality of these people was not strong and was at most at the awakening realm. However, Tsing Hui understood that the people of this world focused on cultivating their souls and each of them had extremely powerful souls. However, their use of souls had reached an extremely profound level, so much so that Tsing Hui, the spirit master, could not sense it at all. "I believe Captain Liao Zilong has told you about my situation. At present, I have lost my memories and can't understand many things. However, my instinctive vigilance still exists, so even if the law stipulates that you must find ways to protect my safety, if I find out that you may do something unfavorable to me, I will still choose to fight back," Tsing Hui said. Tang Xing respectfully said, "Please rest assured, Master. We understand this and will do our best to satisfy any request of Master. In addition, we will find ways to report Master's injury and memory loss and ask the Empire's headquarters Spirit Master Association to send a Spirit Master to assist you in your recovery. Don't worry for the time being." Tsing Hui waved his hand and said, "My spaceship suddenly crashed. God knows if it was another Spirit Master who persecuted me. If the news that I am here spreads, he, who didn't kill me, may make a second move. This is impossible, right? Every spirit master has the hope of growing up to be the savior of our Xiaya Empire in the future. Who would be so crazy as to kill a spirit master?" Tang Xing wiped the non-existent sweat on his forehead and said with some bewilderment. "Are there still a minority of selfish people in this world? Well, in short, for my safety, just listen to my orders. You must not report this matter. Even if you want to report it, you must get my permission first." "Yes, Master. Don't worry, Black Star has been downgraded to a third-class administrative planet. With your status, Master needs to become the Master of Black Star and also has this temporary authority. We are all willing to follow Master's orders." "That's good." Tsing Hui nodded indifferently. At the same time, he rejoiced in his heart. Although the cultivation system of this world was not weak, and there were even suspected to be experts equivalent to Dongxiu realm experts, he might be able to gain a lot by relying on his lofty status as a mental strength master. Let's return. Tsinghui Tang Xing waved his hand. Yes, master, Tang Xing said. Tsinghui nodded. At the same time, his gaze fell on a few of the more powerful mechas among the 40 or so mechas. How are the power of these mechas? Sir, this is a holy grade mecha. In terms of combat ability, it is not inferior to a planetary grade battleship. Normally, only 9th order psychic ability users are able to pilot it. However, with the continuous advancement of technology over the years, coupled with the popularization of many psychic ability users, we 8th order psychic ability users are able to pilot these holy grade mecha. Oh. Tsinghui looked at the mech and said, "Can you let your people pilot it so I can see the performance of this mech?" Of course. Grandmaster, you need to observe. This is our honor. As Tang Xing spoke, he turned his gaze to the mecha team's captains, Lu Fei and Gu Pan. The two of you will have a mecha duel. Let the master see the power of a holy mecha. Yes. Lu Fei and Gu Pan responded and quickly entered the mecha. Soon, they were fighting in the field not far from Tsinghui. As the two mechas fought, Tsinghui Tang Xing quickly estimated the power of these two holy grade mechas. Golden Core Stage. In terms of combat ability, these two mechas were not inferior to the Golden Core Stage. Are there any higher grade mechas above the holy grade? Higher grade mechas? The custom-made mecha of mental strength masters will definitely have better performance, but the Imperial military doesn't have any higher level standard mecha. That's because it's no longer worth it to spend a lot of money to make higher level mecha. It's better to make more warships. Is there no higher grade mechas? Can these mechas be controlled by artificial intelligence? Tsinghui Tang Xing looked at them for a moment and asked. Artificial intelligence? Tang Xing was startled. He quickly said, it is possible to use artificial intelligence to control them, but the power it can display is less than a tenth of a psychic ability user's power. Tsinghui Tang Xing nodded. If it's only 1/10, that was a little too weak. However, an 8th order psychic ability user? That should be the level of the transcendent state. Master, the spaceship is here to welcome you. While Tsinghui was deep in thought, Tang Xing said respectfully. As Tsinghui looked up, he happened to see a large spaceship that looked like a sky fortress rapidly approaching him. It hovered steadily in the void not far away from Tsinghui. Then, a flight of stairs extended from the bottom of the spaceship, extending directly to where Tsinghui was. At the same time, a middle-aged man quickly came out with a group of people. Obsidian Star's Southern Military Commander, Xiao Lei, greets the Master. I didn't know that the Master was coming, so please forgive me for not coming out to greet you. Tsinghui Tang Xing glanced at the middle-aged man named Xiao Lei. He could tell that this man was the kind of person who lived like a prince. He probably had a lot of authority on Obsidian Star. Tsinghui Tang Xing intended to bring a few more holy mechas with him when he left, and then train a batch of mecha knights. Not to mention fighting for Tianqiu, at least they would be able to guard Tianhuang and Sangjian continent without any worries. If he could let Jin Lian research and invent a more advanced mecha, that would be even better. Let's go back now. Also, find me all the cultivation methods from psychic ability users to psychic ability masters. I want to see if I can use these cultivation methods and secret manuals to stimulate my memories and help me figure out my true identity. Yes, yes. Master, please come in first. I will prepare a personal terminal for you. Xiao Lei said and waved to a man dressed as a guard beside him. Soon, the guard left. When Tsinghui Tang Xing followed Xiao Lei onto the spaceship and came to the hall, the guard had already handed a wristwatch-like personal terminal to Tsinghui. Master, this personal terminal is the best personal terminal we can get at the moment. You can use it for the time being. When the time comes, we will order from those high-ranking administrative planets, or even the capital planet, and have them send over a personal terminal worthy of master's status. Okay. Tsing Hui Tang Xing nodded and looked at the personal terminal in front of him. How do I use it? Please allow me to guide you on how to use it, master. Scholar said and quickly introduced the place to Kiran. Due to the high intelligence of the personal terminal, Tsing Hui Tang Xing could learn it quite easily. When the spaceship was flying toward the southern base of Obsidian Star, he had already figured out the functions of the personal terminal. Master, I have sent all the cultivation tutorials for psychic ability users from rank 1 to rank 9, the tutorials for breaking through to the master level, and the techniques to your personal terminal. If you want to read any information, you can directly search through the personal terminal. All the cultivation tutorials from the 1st to the 9th rank? Including the many techniques needed to break through to the master level. Tsing Hui was stunned. Such precious information was given to him so easily. He didn't even need to go through the formalities. Yes. Xiao Lei seemed to have seen through Tsing Hui's doubts and said with a smile, in the past few hundred years, our Xia Empire has been vigorously promoting the psychic ability user training system, hoping to increase the number of psychic ability masters through national training. Otherwise, how could the number of psychic ability masters reach tens of thousands? Similar to the psychic ability user's conventional training method, as long as you connect to the interplanetary network, you can find it with your personal terminal. The only thing that is more precious is the secret method of breakthrough and training techniques. In addition, offensive psychic ability users are also prohibited from spreading. After all, the harm that a psychic ability user with psychic ability users and a psychic ability user without psychic ability users can cause to society is completely different. Secret Spirit Technique. Tsing Hui immediately thought of Liao Zilong's special operation technique of psychic ability when he blocked his sword intent slash, and asked, "Can I read Secret Spirit Technique?" This ordinary Secret Spirit Technique is prohibited from spreading, let alone master-level Secret Spirit Technique. Master, if you really want to learn powerful Secret Spirit Technique, you can only go to the capital's Psychic Ability Master Association and register as an Empire's Psychic Ability Master to learn it. Or, if you can recover your memories, you should be able to recall some Secret Spirit Techniques. In order to allow psychic ability users to have enough power to protect themselves, the Empire often lets psychic ability users learn several powerful Secret Spirit Techniques for free. Go to the Psychic Ability Master Association and register as an Empire's Psychic Ability Master. Tsing Hui couldn't help but hesitate. This world's research on psychic ability had obviously reached an extremely profound level. He was also a Psychic Ability Master, but in terms of psychic ability, he was obviously no match for these people. However, if he couldn't win in psychic ability, he could just crush them physically. Tsing Hui didn't forget that he still had the shape-shifting skill. A monster with master-level psychic ability in the physique of a Class 8, Class 9, or even a Class 10 dire beast, perhaps, if everything went well, he would be able to reap a shocking reward from this operation. How long will it take to get to the Imperial capital? Celestial Star was originally a first-class administrative planet, so there's a stargate that leads directly to the Imperial capital. If you want to get to the Imperial capital, it'll only take a day. Alright, make the arrangements. I want to head to the Imperial capital and apply to register as an Empire's Psychic Ability Master. Xiao Lei didn't dare to disobey and bowed respectfully. Yes, Master. As you wish. Chapter 621. Although Obsidian Star was only a level 3 administrative star, as the commander of the southern base, Xiao Lei's power was still very amazing. Especially since he was serving as Spirit Master, he was given the green light all the way. In less than half a day, he had arranged all the itinerary, and accompanied by the staff stationed at Obsidian Star's Spirit Master Association branch, he took a flight to the capital star and headed towards the capital star, heading towards the capital star of the Xia Empire. A day's sailing time quickly passed. While Tsing Hui was constantly learning about the Spirit Ability User's training system, the huge star of the capital star also appeared in Tsing Hui's field of vision. The entire capital star was surrounded by 6 satellite fortresses. In addition to the powerful defensive forces on the satellite fortresses, there were also a large number of steel warships docked in the starry sky at all times. Tsing Hui glanced over and found 3 fleets with more than 10 warships constantly cruising around the capital star. Each of these battleships had extremely powerful firepower, especially the main cannons of the battleships. They even had the power to shatter asteroids with a single shot. Even the divine abilities of Almighties were inferior to the main cannons of these battleships. Tsing Hui was secretly shocked. At the same time, he constantly divided a part of his mind to focus on teleportation. Once there was any danger, he would use teleportation at the fastest speed and leave the capital star's circle. Master, our capital star is in front of us. We have already communicated with the Capital Stars Association. When the time comes, someone will personally come to make detailed arrangements for Master. Saya, the Vice President of Obsidian Star's Spirit Master Association branch, who was accompanying Tsing Hui, said respectfully. Okay. Tsing Hui nodded. At the same time, he activated his personal terminal and projected an image. There are such things in this starry sky. Saya looked at the three-dimensional image projected by Tsing Hui's personal terminal. It was a creature that was more than 1,000 meters long, covered in scales, with 3 pairs of fleshy wings on its back. Its body was a bit similar to a Tyrannosaurus rex. This is a 6-winged Tyrannosaurus rex, one of the most powerful space monsters in our starry sky. However, due to the rise of our human civilization and the scarcity of space monsters, the 6-winged Tyrannosaurus rex is basically extinct. Even if there are 1 or 2 occasionally, they are probably hiding in the vast sea of stars and don't dare to show themselves. After all, although space monsters can be called powerful, their lack of mental strength limits their destructive power. Even if they are as powerful as the 6-winged Tyrannosaurus rex, saint-level beings can still use mental secret techniques to destroy their consciousness. Oh. Tsing Hui looked at the information recorded in his personal terminal. I remember you guys saying that the 6-winged Tyrannosaurus rex is a terrifying creature that can tear apart a stellar-level warship. No matter how strong the physical body is, it is not worth mentioning if you are not proficient in the cultivation of your soul. Take the Mecha Knights on the market for example. No matter how amazing their destructive power is, a spirit master only needs to use mental secret techniques to directly crush their souls and kill them in droves. Therefore, no matter how powerful a Mecha Knight is, it is impossible for it to fight against a spirit master, Saya said with a smile. Saya said with a smile. His eyes were filled with yearning for a spiritual force master. After a short while, a thought occurred to him, and he said regretfully, but it's not like spiritual force masters don't have any weaknesses. Weaker spiritual force masters can only unleash a spiritual storm of 12 kilometers. If those Mecha Knights were to bombard a spiritual force master from 12 kilometers away, the spiritual force master would still be in danger of dying. Bombard the area? In other words, if an asteroid is directly destroyed, even a legendary-level spirit master would not be able to escape the fate of death on that asteroid. In theory, that is true, but this kind of thing will never happen. Saya did not expect Qing Su to ask such a direct question, so he immediately wiped away the sweat on his forehead and explained, all battleships and even mechas of the Empire are equipped with a friend or foe identification system, and they're all connected to the interstellar network. Once the system detects that the person before you is a venerable spiritual force master, it will immediately seal off the firepower. Normally, it can only be undone after the Association of Spiritual Force Masters is consulted. While some private modifications can undo the seal, they will be sentenced to death as soon as they are discovered. As a result, the safety of spiritual force masters is perfectly guaranteed. Is that so? Then how do you explain what happened to me? Xing Hui pretended to be dissatisfied. But in reality, he was worried that there might be a flaw in his explanation. There will always be reactionaries in the world who are unwilling to accept the distribution of resources, so they will take risks out of desperation. This one estimates that the enemy must have used those modified warships to attack your spaceship, which caused you to crash on Obsidian Star. However, this kind of thing rarely happens. After all, there are only a few forces that can modify warships. When we return to the association, we will immediately send people to investigate. It won't be long before we have results. Is that so? Then I will wait for the results of your investigation. Xing Hui snorted. The Spirit Master Association might find out that there was something wrong with his background, but it would take at least a month or two. In a month or two, he would have left this world long ago. Even if the people of this world found out that there was something wrong with his background, what could they do to him? I saw the introduction on my personal terminal. The Imperial Capital has a Star Beast Exhibition Hall and a Star Beast Research Institute. I want to go take a look at those institutes first. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that I should have some connection to those institutes. Xing Hui spoke without thinking. Connection to the institutes? Could it be that Master is a spirit master of the research faction? Yes, the Star Beast Research Institute does invite spirit masters to participate from time to time. I will help Master apply for an in-depth tour of the institute. Okay. As Xing Hui spoke, he had already followed Saya to the Star Beast Research Institute. By the time Xing Hui arrived at the Star Beast Research Institute, the application had already been approved. The two of them smoothly entered the institute. Hello, Master Pak Hui. I am the Vice President of the Royal Star Beast Research Institute, Ao Feng. Welcome, Master. When Xing Hui and Saya entered the institute, a Vice President of the institute had already received the news and was waiting at the entrance to welcome them. Next, I will lead Master on a tour of the institute to assist Master in recovering your lost memories. Thank you. Xing Hui nodded. It is our honor to be able to serve Master. Ao Feng smiled faintly and gestured with his hand, leading them directly into the institute. Because star beasts were often huge, the Star Beast Research Institute naturally occupied an extremely wide area. It would take a few days to walk around the institute. Therefore, the group was riding on a small, open-air flying device that looked like a flying saucer. The flying device was extremely fast and soon arrived in front of the corpse of a large monster that was more than 60 meters long. Although this monster was only a corpse, it had not rotted due to special maintenance methods and looked very lifelike. This is a thorny beast. It is relatively small among the 403 known types of star beasts. Its mental strength is roughly equivalent to a rank 7 mental ability user and has a certain level of intelligence. However, a rank 9 mental ability user can often use mental secret techniques to subdue it. Its battle strength should be comparable to a divine-grade mecha. It is a relatively ordinary star beast. Until now, there have been many groups of them roaming around some starfields. Xing Hui nodded. Divine grade was already equivalent to the Golden Elixir stage, but such a powerful monster was not even worth mentioning in Dean Ao Feng's words. This point indirectly proved the strength of the Xiaya Empire. Ao Feng continued to lead Xing Hui forward and soon arrived at a large energy shield with a diameter of more than 600 meters. A 300-meter-tall star beast roared out violently within the energy barrier, and it would charge at the barrier from time to time. Qing Su sensed it carefully, and his face immediately changed slightly. Just the toughness of the star beast's body alone had probably reached the level of a Class 11 vicious beast. It could even put up a fight against powerful human beings. This is a feather beast. It can already be ranked in the top 100 among the star beasts. Only a mental strength master can subdue it. Ao Feng introduced the monster to the side and quickly moved on to the next monster. In less than an hour, he had already observed more than 10 star beasts. Most of these monsters were just corpses, specimens, or even parts of corpses. The only ones that were truly alive were the Feather Beast and the Red Cloud Beast that was comparable in battle strength to the Feather Beast. What about the six-winged Tyrannosaurus? Where is the research area of the six-winged Tyrannosaurus? I want to go there and take a look. Tsing Hui said. The six-winged Tyrannosaurus was a powerful star beast. Because Tsing Hui's identity was unknown, Ao Feng was slightly hesitant. But thinking that he had come to the capital star to register as a mental strength master and that he was indeed a mental strength master, he nodded. Master, please come with me. After that, the group quickly came to an extremely tightly guarded egg-shaped enclosed building. In this large enclosed building with a diameter of more than 400 meters, the first thing that appeared in front of Tsing Hui was a huge claw. In addition, there were some other bits and pieces, all of which were obtained from the six-winged Tyrannosaurus. Through the flesh and blood and the aura left behind by the six-winged Tyrannosaurus corpse, Tsing Hui inferred that this star beast's battle strength had reached at least rank 13, which was the level of divine grade. As for its limit, he did not know. It was a pity that such a powerful monster was actually defeated by a saint-level mental strength master due to its weak mind and became prey. Tsing Hui looked around the research institute for a moment. Finally, from the corner of his eye, he glanced at a container full of six-winged Tyrannosaurus blood that was 10 meters tall and 3 meters thick. Then, with the help of the mystery of his personal space, he quietly took away a trace of blood when he passed by the container. In any case, because the container was huge, no one would notice the loss of a bit of blood. After obtaining the blood, Tsing Hui had achieved his goal of coming to the research institute. He immediately bid farewell to the vice president of the research institute, Ao Feng, and went to the Mental Strength Master Association. Chapter 622. Spirit Masters, as a special group with the highest status in the Xia Empire, their association's headquarters was also built in a magnificent manner. At a glance, there were dozens of connected castles, and among the castles, there were towering towers. Every Spirit Master can have their own suite in the Spirit Master Association. In addition, they can have their own manor in the imperial capital. The area is no less than 30,000 square meters, and the location of the manor is excellent. It is less than 500 kilometers from the imperial capital's main city and is within an hour's traffic circle. Master, you will naturally be able to receive these most basic benefits after you are certified. Saya introduced respectfully from the side. Her eyes were filled with envy. This was the imperial capital's main city. Ordinary people didn't even dare to think about owning a 30,000 square meter manor in the imperial capital's main city. It must be known that the price of 1 square meter in the imperial capital's ordinary city was already equivalent to the annual income of a high-class white-collar worker. In other words, a high-class white-collar worker could only buy a 100 square meter suite if he didn't eat or drink for 100 years. This was the case in the ordinary city, let alone the main city. Moreover, the income of a high-class white-collar worker was often 3 to 5 times that of an ordinary white-collar worker. This was the case for a high-class white-collar worker, let alone an ordinary white-collar worker. Master Pak Hui, Deacon Harp has been waiting for you inside for a long time. When Tsing Hui and Shay arrived inside the Spirit Master Association, a psychic stepped forward and respectfully saluted. Then, under the guidance of this psychic, the group entered the Spirit Master Association. Although the Spirit Master Association was called the Spirit Master Association, there weren't many Spirit Masters who stayed here for a long time. In addition, these Spirit Masters were all good at hiding their mental fluctuations. Tsing Hui couldn't tell the difference between a Spirit Master and an ordinary person at a glance, so he could only withdraw his gaze for a while. Master Pak Hui. When the psychic brought Tsing Hui to Deacon Harp's room, Deacon Harp, who looked like an elegant noblewoman in her 30s, stood up and said with a smile, "We have already prepared the relevant testing equipment for you." As a spirit master, as long as your mental power hasn't improved too much during this period, our Spirit Master Association should have the corresponding frequency records. As long as the frequency matches, we will be able to quickly lock onto your identity through the frequency, and then conduct targeted training to retrieve your lost memories. Spiritual frequency. Tsing Hui's heart sank slightly, but he wasn't worried. Now that he had obtained the blood of a six-winged Tyrannosaurus, he could transform into a six-winged Tyrannosaurus at a critical moment. When the time came, he would have the willpower of a spirit master and the body of a six-winged Tyrannosaurus. He could completely ignore the other people in the Spirit Master Association, plunder the association, and easily retreat. Grandmaster Pak Hui, please. The harp deacon smiled and led Tsing Hui to a large machine. The machine looked like an enlarged version of a crystal ball, but it was 3 meters tall. There were also many wires connected to it, making it look very different from a real crystal ball. This is Jingjing, the most advanced intelligent device. Master Pak Hui, you only need to send your spirit into it, and Jingjing will automatically retrieve it. The harp explained. Tsing Hui nodded and didn't hesitate. He immediately mobilized his sword intent and projected it into the crystal ball. The crystal ball was soon dyed red by Tsing Hui's sword intent, and a warning came from the broadcasting device on the side. Jingjing is under attack. The threat level of the attack is lower than level 1. Unable to deal with it. Searching spiritual frequency, the harp on the side was shocked when she saw Tsing Hui's spirit waves. I felt that something was wrong with Grandmaster Pak Hui's spirit waves from the beginning. I thought you were injured, so I didn't think much of it. But now it seems. Grandmaster, you can't control your spirit power? Can't control it? Tsing Hui was a little surprised. He felt that it was quite good. You can't control your spirit power precisely. Like lifting 100,000 strands of hair at the same time and making them move irregularly? The harp asked curiously. With this question, Tsing Hui suddenly understood something. The people of this world had an extremely profound understanding of the spirit. This could be seen from the fact that they could easily restrain their spirit waves without spilling out. Obviously, the so-called control standard that others spoke of was not on the same line as the control standard that he understood. Realizing this, Tsing Hui's face couldn't help but turn black. But just as he was about to explain something, the artificial intelligence Jingjing's voice suddenly resounded. Saint-level spirit waves detected, Saint-level spirit waves detected. Detecting, strength 34691, cohesion level 31, utilization rate 27, Saint-level spirit waves. The harp was stunned on the spot when she heard this. Then, she turned her gaze to Tsing Hui in disbelief. This spirit master who claimed to have lost his memory was actually not an ordinary spirit master, but a saint-level existence in the entire Xia Empire. Cohesion level 31, utilization rate 27. Although the spirit value has gone up, the overall utilization rate is less than 1/3. This is clearly a breakthrough to the saint realm not long ago. Although it has just broken through to the saint realm, the cohesion level and utilization rate shouldn't be this low. But considering that Master Pak Hui is in a state of amnesia and has lost many secret techniques and utilization methods, everything can be understood. Great, our Spirit Master Association has given birth to another saint-level Spirit Master. This good news must be reported to the Patriarch Society immediately. The harp's face was full of surprise, and the gaze she looked at Tsing Hui with was obviously different. She had originally thought that the person in front of her was a mental strength master like her, so she had treated him as an equal. Now, it seemed that he had actually reached the saint level, which meant that he was qualified to be a member of the Patriarch Society. His status was much higher than hers. Thinking of this, she suddenly became very enthusiastic. Saint Pak Hui, your spirit frequency has changed since you broke through to the saint realm. Jingjing can no longer determine it, but please rest assured, no matter who it is, anyone who dares to endanger the safety of a saint will be severely punished. I just want to get my memories back as soon as possible. Tsing Hui said as his gaze fell on the harp. I've always felt that my wanting to get my memories back should be related to my cultivation method. Are there enough records of cultivation methods in the Spirit Master Association? If I can look through them, I might be able to remember my past experiences. This. Saint, do you want to rest first? No need, I can't wait any longer. Tsing Hui said as his expression turned cold. Or rather, I've already registered as a Spirit Master of the Empire, but I still can't read those cultivation methods. No, that's definitely not the case. With your status, Saint, other than the core books and secret techniques that can only be read by those who have enough contribution points, you already have the right to read more than 90% of the books and secret techniques in our association for free. That's good. Take me there. Tsing Hui said. He didn't have much time left. He had to take advantage of the deadline of the War of Chaos to obtain as many benefits as possible. Otherwise, he didn't know how many times he would have to try to come to such a special world that seemed to be a technological world but was actually a spiritual cultivation world. Yes, I'll go through the application for you, Saint. However, if you just want to read the manuals on the periphery, you can go there directly. If you want to read the secret techniques above the master level, you'll need the approval of the Board of Patriarchs. That's troublesome. I don't want to steal these secret techniques. I just want to browse through these secret techniques and see if I can stimulate my memories with one of the secret techniques I've learned before and help me recover. If you don't trust me, you can arrange for someone to follow me. You just want to browse through these secret techniques? Harp's eyes lit up as she spoke, and she quickly added, I'll apply to the higher-ups right now. If it's just browsing, given that you've exceeded the authority of a Grandmaster, the application should be approved very quickly. White Ruin Saint, I'll take you there first. Okay. Tsing Hui nodded. What he needed to do now was to get to the place where the secret techniques and books of the Spirit Master Association were recorded as soon as possible. Once he got there, he would decide whether he would snatch them by force or teleport them away. That would depend on his mood. Soon, the two of them boarded an internal aircraft and headed toward the tower at the center of the Spirit Master Association. This tower was strictly guarded. Not only were there many high-tech defenses, but there were also two saint-level existences personally overseeing it. When the harp brought Tsing Hui here, her application was approved. However, when he entered the reference room, one of the two saint-level existences overseeing the place followed him in. Together with the harp, they followed Tsing Hui to prevent him from stealing the secret techniques. Saint, you can download cultivation methods and secret techniques below master level using your personal terminal. Cultivation methods and secret techniques above master level, as well as related techniques, are all physical books. You can read them one by one to see if these books can stimulate your memory and help you recover. The harp patiently explained as she followed behind Tsing Hui. Tsing Hui nodded. First, he used his personal terminal to download the secret techniques below the master level. Then, he quickly flipped through the cultivation methods used by the Spirit Master Association. There were all kinds of cultivation methods for tempering the mind, and there were hundreds and thousands of them. Tsing Hui skimmed through them one by one. The Six Desires cultivation method, the Heavenly Note cultivation method, the Chant of the Holy Dragon, the Stargazing chart, the Realm Heart meditation method, the Starseed funeral oration, the Nine Forging spirit technique. There were many types of cultivation methods, and each of them could be cultivated to at least the saint level. Most of them could be cultivated to the legendary level or even above the legendary level. It was said that they could use their spiritual power to tear the void apart. If I can get my hands on these cultivation methods, the shackles of my spiritual power level will be completely broken by me. When that time comes, Tsing Hui's eyes sparkled. If it weren't for the fact that he hadn't finished looking through all the cultivation methods and secret techniques, and that there were two people following behind him, he would probably have rushed to snatch them. Even so, he didn't plan to let any of these cultivation methods go. He had to put them all into his personal space and pack them all up. Chapter 623. Then, it's time to end the War of Chaos. After Tsing Hui flipped through all the books and secret techniques, he diverted a portion of his attention to his main body. There was actually a huge drawback to the War of Chaos, which was that if one sensed that there was no chance of victory in the War of Chaos, one could hide and use all one's strength to kill the opponent's main body before the War of Chaos was completely decided. Once the opponent's main body died, it would naturally be regarded as a failure in the War of Chaos. It was precisely because of this that the possibility of a first-stage Son of Chaos obtaining a great opportunity and turning the tables in the War of Chaos to defeat a high-level Son of Chaos was very low. This was because a cultivator could completely force the other party to admit defeat in the real world. Tsing Hui diverted a portion of his consciousness to get someone to send an order to the Green Netherworld Realm cultivator who was only a first-stage Son of Chaos. After receiving the order, the Son of Chaos did not dare to disobey and directly chose to end the War of Chaos by committing suicide. As soon as the first-stage Son of Chaos died, Tsing Hui immediately felt that his consciousness could return to his main body at any time. Very good. Tsing Hui glanced at the many books stored here and then secretly sized up the two saint-level existences who stood on his left and right, pretending to be his companions but actually supervising him. Immediately, he activated his personal spatial power and put all the books in front of him into his personal space in one breath. What are you doing? Stop! Seeing Tsing Hui plundering these top books, the Spirit Master Harp and the other saint-level existence, Chi Mo, roared at the same time. The saint-level Spirit Master Chi Mo even roared sternly, and powerful spirit power swept out with the momentum of Mount Tai, fiercely blasting into Tsing Hui's spiritual world. Buzz buzz. In the face of the spiritual attack, the brilliant sword intent in Tsing Hui's spiritual world suddenly erupted. Endless bright brilliance shot out from his spiritual world like a blazing sun, vainly trying to expel the spiritual power that had invaded his spiritual world. However, even though they were both saint-level mental energy, Chi Mo's usage and understanding of mental energy had clearly reached the pinnacle. When Tsing Hui's sun-like sword light landed on Chi Mo's mental energy, the mental energy nimbly scattered, easily bypassing the attack of the brilliant sword light and exploding heavily in his mental world. This caused his mental world, which had almost no defensive means, to shake violently. The pain of his spirit being injured made him grunt uncontrollably. Sure enough, when it comes to spiritual power, even though my spiritual power is of the same level as this saint-level spiritual power master, I'm still far from being his match. I can't even deal with a spiritual power master harp. If that's the case, enduring the pain, Tsing Hui's eyes flashed, and in the next moment, he activated the shape-shifting technique. This time, he chose to shape-shift into the cosmic beast he had just obtained, the six-winged Tyrannosaurus. Under the miraculous effects of the shape-shifting technique, Tsing Hui's body suddenly expanded wildly from a body of flesh and blood, growing into a terrifying behemoth that was over 1,000 meters tall. Vast and mighty vital energy constantly surged out of his body, and at the same time, countless methods of mobilizing vital energy and erupting strength were derived in his mind. This was the innate fighting talent of the six-winged Tyrannosaurus. Although the shape-shifting technique could not be like a real sacred beast or divine beast and could not use the remarkable abilities they had comprehended, these basic things were instantly understood by Tsing Hui. The time can only last for 10 breaths, but it's enough. Roar! With a furious roar, terrifying sound waves formed a visible shock wave that swept out from the terrifying beast that was over 1,000 meters in diameter. In an instant, the entire data storage room was almost completely destroyed. Astral Beast. It's an astral beast. Chi Mo, the saint-level mental strength master, let out a roar of shock and anger. At the same time, he retreated rapidly and formed a defensive shield on the surface of his body through the interference of his mind with matter. Even so, the sound waves formed by Tsing Hui's roar alone still sent him flying backwards, smashing the wall outside into pieces. He looked extremely miserable. As for Harp, she was even more miserable than Chi Mo. Her mental strength was inferior to Chi Mo's, and coupled with the fact that she was too close to Tsing Hui, she was directly injured by the roar of the six-winged Tyrannosaurus that Tsing Hui had transformed into. Fortunately, Tsing Hui had no intention of killing all the mental strength masters of the Association of Mental Strength Masters. After forcing the two mental strength masters to retreat, his huge body turned, and his personal space directly enveloped the books that he had read before, sweeping them all into his personal space. Then, as if he did not give up, he continued to rush to the other storage rooms that contained many powerful occult spiritual skills. Wherever he went, all the skills and occult spiritual skills were swept away, leaving nothing behind. Damn it, a mutant astral beast. This is a mutant astral beast. This kind of astral beast can actually transform into a human form. Chi Mo quickly distanced himself from the six-winged Tyrannosaurus that Tsing Hui had transformed into. At the same time, his powerful mental strength boiled up, forming a mysterious rune that fiercely bombarded Tsing Hui. Occult skill. Spirit suppression. Chi Mo roared, and the power of the occult spiritual skill, which seemed to contain the power of a whole star, fiercely bombarded Tsing Hui's spiritual world. Even though Tsing Hui's spiritual world was strong and huge, he was still suppressed by this occult spiritual skill and could hardly move. At this moment, his thoughts were almost suppressed to a standstill. What a powerful occult spiritual skill! Tsing Hui's eyes lit up. He was caught off guard by Chi Mo's occult spiritual skill, but after all, they were at the same level. When a spiritual master's mental strength left his body to attack another spiritual master's spiritual world, the power would often be greatly weakened. Under normal circumstances, the occult spiritual skill of a spiritual master at the sage level would not have much effect on ordinary spiritual masters, let alone those at the same level. After all, for a practitioner of the spiritual system, the strongest and most powerful thing was always his own spiritual world. Because of this, although Tsing Hui, who knew nothing about occult spiritual skills, was suppressed by Chi Mo's occult spiritual skill and his body trembled and his mind was slightly sluggish, a moment later, the sword essence in his spiritual world rose and burst out, forcibly dispersing Chi Mo's occult spiritual skill, and then continued to sweep up many other occult spiritual skills. This won't do. This mutant astral beast's spiritual energy is too strong. This is the spiritual energy of a saint. Even if it doesn't know how to use this energy, it's enough to defend itself instinctively. Moreover, this astral beast. Why did it place its attention on those secret techniques? Could it be that a high IQ group was born among the astral beasts and began to study our spiritual training methods? Considering this result, Chi Mo could not help but reveal a trace of horror in his eyes. The greatest advantage that humans had over astral beasts was their spiritual strength. Without the advantage of spiritual strength, it was difficult for humans to fight against astral beasts. Take the six-winged Tyrannosaurus in front of them as an example. Just a few dozen of them would be able to easily tear apart the defense circle of the imperial capital and destroy the entire capital in one fell swoop. At that time, the status of humans and astral beasts in this part of the universe might even be reversed. No, I can't let this astral beast take away these occult spiritual cultivation methods and occult spiritual skills. A trace of determination flashed in Chi Mo's eyes. The next moment, his already tyrannical spiritual strength rose again. Apparently, he had used some special occult spiritual skill to stimulate his spiritual potential. At this moment, another saint-level mental strength master who was guarding the data vault suddenly rushed over. At the same time, 6 powerful energy waves belonging to saint-level mental strength masters rose from the Mental Strength Association. As for ordinary mental strength masters, there were several hundred of them. So many experts. Moreover, these experts' understanding and application of spiritual strength far surpasses mine by who knows how many times. In addition, they have occult spiritual skills that can unleash the characteristics of spiritual strength attacks. If I'm really surrounded by several sage-level spiritual masters, I'm afraid I won't be able to think. Tsing Hui, who was frantically plundering many spiritual cultivation methods and occult spiritual skills, thought of the fear he felt when he was hit by the occult spiritual skill and immediately did not dare to stay any longer. If 8 saint-level spirit masters took turns to use similar spirit secret techniques on him, they would definitely be able to completely suppress his thoughts. In addition, in this world, other than saint-level spirit masters, there were even more powerful legendary-level spirit masters. Although he didn't know how powerful legendary-level spirit masters were, they could indirectly prove how terrifying these monsters were just from the fact that they could tear the void apart with their spirit after breaking through one level. Therefore, the moment the other spiritual masters of the Spirit Master Association surrounded him, he chose to return without hesitation. Buzz buzz. The moment he chose to return, he seemed to be pulled by an endless force and directly disappeared from the encirclement of many sage-level spiritual masters and ordinary spiritual masters. Chi Mo, in particular, was determined to trap and suppress Tsing Hui. He watched as Tsing Hui, who was in the range of his spiritual lock a second ago, suddenly disappeared in the next second. He widened his eyes in horror. What's going on? Saint Chi Mo, where's that astral beast? A 6-winged Tyrannosaurus is so huge. How could it suddenly disappear? Is it some kind of camouflage? Harp, who was the closest to Chi Mo, and the other saint-level mental strength master who guarded the data storage room appeared beside Chi Mo at the same time. They quickly questioned him. The saint-level mental strength master activated his mental strength as soon as possible, scanning towards the area where Ching Su had vanished like a radar in an attempt to find him. However, his face froze a while later. What's going on? I don't know, but this 6-winged Tyrannosaurus suddenly disappeared. Chi Mo said with a solemn expression. Suddenly disappeared? How is that possible? Whoosh! 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 At this time, many sage-level spiritual masters and ordinary spiritual masters nearby also rushed over. Saint Chi Mo! Saint Chi Mo, Saint Jian, Master Harp, what's going on? Why did a 6-winged Tyrannosaurus appear in our Spirit Master Association? Where did that 6-winged Tyrannosaurus go? With Saint Chi Mo and Saint Jian's abilities, it shouldn't be difficult to suppress a 6-winged Tyrannosaurus, right? Chi Mo's gaze swept over these spiritual masters who had rushed over. At the same time, he scanned the place where Tsing Hui had disappeared again. After confirming that Tsing Hui was indeed gone, his expression completely darkened. Saints, masters, I have to tell you that if my previous guess is correct, we're in big trouble, big trouble. Ji Yun was still puzzled, but Chi Mo had already said without hesitation, immediately send a message to the several presidents. This matter is related to the life and death of all the humans in the entire Xia Empire in this cliff universe. If it is not handled well, even before the collapse crisis arrives, humanity will face the test of extinction first. I can finally take a break. I'll save up a little today and explode it out in one breath tomorrow. Chapter 624. Tsing Hui didn't know that the entire Xia Empire had become jittery because of his ruckus. However, even if he knew, he would at most apologize and still do what he had to do without hesitation. After ending the war with chaos, his consciousness directly returned to his body. Glancing at the terminal in his personal space as well as the many precious mental training methods and mental occult techniques recorded in books, his face immediately revealed a joyful smile. The harvest this time is huge. Although I didn't get a powerful mech like other practitioners, which is what this world calls an alchemy puppet, relying on the many occult techniques I got, whether it's mental training or the use of sword intent, I can climb to a whole new level. Tsing Hui was in a good mood. He also ordered to reward the Green Netherworld Realm practitioner who had been stripped of his chaos level. This scene was in exchange for the gratitude of the rank 1 son of chaos. With Tsing Hui's current status, the magic weapons he used and came into contact with were basically all level 10 and above. Even if it was the lowest value magic weapon among the magic weapons, it was still enough to make a green netherworld realm practitioner go wild with joy. With this level 10 magic weapon, he could even be mentioned in the same breath as a vision divine expert. Next, it's time to carefully organize. Tsing Hui's gaze swept through the many mental training methods one by one and began to carefully study them. Although he was not a practitioner who specialized in the mental system, his vision was far from what ordinary people could compare to. Under his selection, he quickly picked out the 4 most valuable mental training methods and the 3 most compatible occult techniques from among the many methods and occult techniques. 6 Desires Mind Cultivation Method, 9 Forging Spirit Technique, Stargazing Chart, Star Sea Funeral Oration. Tsing Hui's gaze swept through the mental training methods one by one. The 6 Desires Mind Cultivation Method required one to separate the 6 desires from the bottom of one's heart and form an existence similar to an incarnation. Then, one would be completely immersed in these 6 desires and use the power of these desires to train one's mental power. Usually, after cultivating the 6 desires incarnations to a sufficient level, one would absorb them back and merge them into one, allowing one's mental power to soar. Almost every time the 6 desires incarnation was completed, it would bring about a breakthrough on the spiritual level. One of the 3 legendary powerhouses in the Spirit Master Association had used the 6 desires mind cultivation technique to push his mental strength to the legendary level. The power of this mind cultivation method was remarkable and its effects were astonishing, but it had the drawback of schizophrenia. There were many people in the Spirit Master Association who relied on this mind cultivation method to become a spirit master or even a saint, but there were also many who cultivated schizophrenia. On the other hand, the stargazing chart used one's mental power to evolve the starry sky of the universe. Through the vastness of the starry sky, one's mental power would constantly grow and become vast and extensive. This mind cultivation method was not difficult to cultivate, but its drawback was that it was easy to cultivate oneself into an astral-like existence. The activity of one's consciousness fluctuations would be reduced, and one would even imitate a star and fall into a long deep sleep. As for the 9 Forging Spirit technique, it was full of a neutral and peaceful aura. Although the cultivation speed was the slowest among the 4 mental training methods, it had almost no drawbacks. Moreover, the so-called slowness was only for the Xia Empire. The lifespan of the people of the Xia Empire was not long. Even a spirit master could only live for a few hundred years by relying on genetic technology and constantly excavating one's potential. Using a limited few hundred years to cultivate the neutral and peaceful 9 Forging Spirit technique, unless one was overflowing with talent, it would be very difficult to have any great achievements. At best, one could only reach the level of a spirit master. However, the world that Green Ruins resided in was different. In this world, any golden core cultivator could live up to 1 or 2,000 years. Coupled with some treasures and cultivation methods that could extend their lifespan, they could even live up to 3 or 4,000 years. With the accumulation of time, basically every single person could cultivate their soul to the legendary level or even the mythical level. In other words, their soul would reach the level of 140 to 150. If one's talent was awe-inspiring, it was even more immeasurable. Thousands of years is obviously not suitable for me to cultivate, but if such a mind cultivation method were to be known by others, they would definitely go crazy. This is simply a divine technique for cultivating the mind. Tsing Hui's gaze paused for a moment on the 9 Forging Spirit technique, and finally fell on a mental training method that made him feel a little strange. Star Sea Funeral Oration. This was a mystical secret technique that could not only strengthen the mind, but also temper one's body. It was said that this secret technique was to visualize the 27 characters recorded in it. Through a method similar to resonance, one could obtain the blessing of the starry sky and universe's power, thereby increasing one's body. The true Starcy funeral oration was said to be only cultivated by mythical level experts, but with the change of time, the requirements for cultivating this funeral oration were constantly lowered. Currently, it had been lowered to the point that even a spirit master could cultivate it. According to the people of the Spirit Master Association, the blessing one could obtain from this funeral oration was related to the universe they were in. The stronger the universe where the cultivator of the funeral oration was in, the stronger the blessing would be. The smaller the universe, the smaller the blessing would be. Because the cliff universe had been torn apart, the effect of cultivating this Starcy funeral oration was minimal. So much so that although the Spirit Master Association had detailed records of it and recorded it in the database, almost no one could truly cultivate this funeral oration. Not only can it increase the mind, but it can also increase the body. Is there really such a good thing? Tsing Hui was somewhat tempted. The starry sky of the cliff universe had been torn apart, but the starry sky of the world he was in was intact. He did not know if he could obtain satisfactory results from cultivating this Starcy funeral oration. Let's cultivate it first. If the Starcy funeral oration can really increase the mind and body at the same time, that would be great. If it can't, then I can only choose the 6 desires spiritual cultivation method. Tsing Hui murmured. Compared to the stargazing chart, the 6 desires spiritual cultivation method had a more significant effect on the mind. It was almost an increase of one's realm by one's realm. In other words, as long as one completed one round of cultivation of the 6 desires incarnation, one's mind level could be increased by at least 10 levels. If the cultivation effect was significant, it was not an extravagant hope to increase it to 10 or even 20 levels. Withdrawing his gaze from the spiritual cultivation method, Tsing Hui's eyes fell on the 3 secret spiritual techniques. In terms of power, these 3 secret spiritual techniques might not be the strongest, but they were the most suitable for Tsing Hui's current state. Ash's secret skill, Thorn's secret skill, Eternal Light's secret skill. Ash's secret skill was an offensive secret skill that transformed the mind into fire property damage. Thorn's secret skill transformed the mind into a sword to kill the target, which was similar to sword intent. Eternal Light's secret skill was a defensive secret skill that guarded the spiritual world. It lit up an eternal light in the spiritual world to ensure that the spiritual tinder would never die out. Even if one was killed on the spot or his spiritual world collapsed, as long as the spiritual tinder was still there, he could still be resurrected. Secret spiritual techniques could always cause severe harm to those whose spiritual level is one level lower than mine. My spiritual level is level 132, which is equal to that of a sage of Spirit Masters Association. However, as the sages of Spirit Masters Association have a much greater understanding and utilization of the mind than that of cultivators in this world, Chi-Mo, the sage of Spirit Masters Association, could significantly influence me with his secret spiritual techniques. In other words, if I could improve my utilization of the mind and my understanding of secret spiritual techniques to the level of Sage Chi-Mo, I could definitely launch a secret spiritual technique at the beginning of the battle with a sage. When his spirit was shocked, I could even kill him before he had the chance to activate his teleportation skill. As Tsing Hui thought about the prospect of secret spiritual techniques, his eyes lit up at once. The key is to fuse Ash's secret skill and Thorn's secret skill into my sword intent. My spiritual core originates from sword intent. I can't put the cart before the horse for secret spiritual techniques. Thinking of this, Tsing Hui didn't go out. Instead, he stayed in his courtyard and read Thorn's secret skill and Ash's secret skill wholeheartedly. 3 days later, Tsing Hui frowned. Due to the age restriction of the people in that world, the threshold for cultivating these secret spiritual skills is somewhat low. However, it's still not easy for me to completely fuse these 2 secret spiritual skills into my sword intent, let alone successfully cultivating them. Under normal circumstances, I'm afraid that I might not be able to do it even after 8 to 10 years. For a moment, Qing Su shifted his gaze to the comprehension option in the chaotic grade. His comprehension had not yet been maxed out, and it had a significant effect on comprehending secret spiritual techniques, cultivating spiritual techniques, and even modifying the Sword of Sunburst. For a moment, his eyes couldn't help but fall on the many characteristics derived from the interface of the Son of Chaos. Deduction technique, backtracking technique, transformation technique, divine technique, and comprehension was once again included in the scope of his consideration. Deduction technique, its level is too low, so I have to give it up for the time being. Backtracking technique, although I really want to know what's so mysterious about the 10th level backtracking technique, I can only put it aside for the time being. As for transformation technique, the strongest beast blood I've obtained so far is the 6-winged Tyrannosaurus, and its battle strength is only equivalent to that of an ordinary divine being. It's not as good as my own, and it won't change my strength at all if I increase it, so I can ignore it for the time being. Then, only divine technique and comprehension are left. Tsing Hui's eyes swept back and forth between these two characteristics. In the end, he chose comprehension. The divine technique only increased his energy, but it could no longer increase his battle prowess by an entire realm. Instead, it increased his comprehension. If he could use this opportunity to increase his comprehension to the 10th level, he would be able to completely master the Ash's secret technique, the Thorn's secret technique, the Eternal Light's secret technique, the Astral Funeral Rites, or the 6 Desires cultivation technique. The battle strength of his original body would certainly rise to a new peak, and at that time, he might not be without hope of fighting against the strongest divine beings. Sharpening the axe won't delay the work of cutting wood. Cultivating the starry ritual rites requires sufficient comprehension, otherwise it'll be troublesome to simulate those rites. I'll go ask Master Tsang if the ransom from the Divine Ghost sect has arrived. Tsing Hui stood up. The previous master of the Divine Ghost sect, Wang Qicheng, had a full 800 Taoist rhymes, which was enough for him to raise his chaos level to the 10th level of comprehension. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.